casual.
Hey man.
Hey man, how you doing? Oh, that's me again. I'm talking to myself because he hasn't muted Twitch. Oh, feels pleb man. Feels pleb man. I responded to myself through the chat delay. I didn't even notice it was me. Oh, that's fucking beautiful. That's beautiful. I was like, oh, he's back. I'll grab the whirling blades. Alright, I think it's done this way. That was so good. I fucking love that shit. Right. Tarke's a top pleb streamer UK.
Get trolled, man. Get trolled.
Oh, hey, bro. Right, let's see if this live unveiling is ready yet. Oh, okay.
Now.
Oh, most overpowered meta builds. I'm telling you right now, if Oro's Flicker is not in this video, you're getting unmodded. Right.
Yeah, it's of course it's not in it. It's like it's hardcore viable build. It's not softcore viable.
Okay.
I'm very sorry, but that's how it goes.
Okay, let's turn this dude down a bit. Rip it is. Yeah, sorry, chat. I've turned him down a bit. It should be chill now. Right. Okay. Let's I need to see some of the screen so I don't Sudoku myself.
About the current meta in PoE exile. This
Oh, he's still on the 2x speed. Yoji, have you ever heard yourself speak at 0.5 times speed?
Yeah, that I usually have like 3 times speed when I watch my own VODs to cut them. I put them at 3 times speed, so I get like 3 times the VOD length done.
Yeah.
For editing, it's way faster. It's way faster.
Yeah.
So I know how I sound.
Have you heard yourself slowed down?
Yes, sounds like this.
it's Yoji, and once again,
Yeah, that's about right. Okay, let's play this at normal speed. Let's see what Yoji recommends.
time to talk about the current meta in PoE Exile. This time for 2.2 and Ascendancy. But I know most of you are just here to learn which builds are OP at the moment and abuse the crap out of them before they finally get nerfed, instead of coming up with your own creative builds. Unlike me, who is an elite build hipster extraordinaire. But Yoji, was your first character this league not an Earthquake champion? Roll the intro. Overpowered Cookie Cutter Meta Builds Ascendancy Edition. So maybe I am a bit upset about this first thing, because I was playing a support recently, and knowing the type of damage your party members do is kind of important to choose the right curses to debuff enemies and increase the party's overall damage. Back in my day, when someone was shooting lightning strikes all over the screen, he was doing lightning damage. And when my whole fucking screen was full of fire, and it looked like Satan himself was feeling a little warm inside this droid leg already, chances are someone in the party was doing some kind of fire damage. But nowadays, everyone is converting their damage to God knows what. Shooting sparks, chaos damage, flame blasting enemies, yup, chaos damage. Okay, actually, people just convert anything to chaos damage these days. And who can blame them? Chaos damage is just plain better than any other type of damage. Chaos damage is barely ever resisted, never reflected, and it can be made to poison, multiplying the damage even further. So, if you want a strong spellcaster build, play Spark. If you want an even stronger spellcaster build and not die to reflect, play Chaos Spark. By the way, do you remember when Val Spark was nerfed in almost every way imaginable? Well, didn't work out quite so well now, did it? Shit's still OP as ever. Oh, and back in my day, spellcasters used staves and wands, not bows. Maybe my view of these things are a little bit outdated, but bows are for shooting arrows at enemies. But apparently Quill Rain and Voltaxic Rift are now spellcaster weapons. Maybe I am weapon racist for thinking this, but spellcasters should stick to their weird sticks, and archers should be the one using bows and quivers. I mean, I'm okay with bows being a niche hipster option for casters, but when bow wizards become the norm, something's clearly wrong, don't you think? Oh, and talking about Voltaxic Rift, that thing definitely wins this patch's award of most meta unique item. If you played an elemental bow build like Split Arrow...
Right, Yoji, what are your thoughts with the daggers and casters then?
That's cool.
So you're
Basically,
fine with
everything that-
Whirling Blades?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is that we use Whirling Blades because everything else is shit. If they would make Flame Dash or Lightning Warp actually worth using, I don't think we would be having that many dagger casters anymore. I mean, still crit casters, but at least Void Battery would still be usable.
That's fair. Do you think it's
be
better to nerf Whirling Blades or bring the other movement skills up to Whirling Blades out of interest?
I think it would be cooler if they brought up the other skills to Whirling Blades level, because Whirling Blades is really fun, and I think what should be limiting our speed of progression should be how survivable our build is, and like how if we can actually dash into mobs and take the stuff to the face. Basically, yeah, at the moment we can mitigate damage so well that we can Whirling Blades through every map just like that. I think that should be the limiting factor, not how far we can move. Fast we can move. I mean, there needs to be some form of limit on how fast we can move, but yeah, you know what I mean. It shouldn't be. If the mobs aren't dangerous enough, you won't be whirling as fast as you are right now, anyways.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
or Lightning Arrow, or Blast Rain this league, and you continue leveling and mapping, chances are in some point in your map rolling career, you will start reconsidering the choices you have made while planning your character. You start to wonder whether all this currency you have already invested in re-rolling those map mods you can't run is actually worth it, when instead you could just sell your soul to the dark side and stop being a unique snowflake and finally start using the same fucking bow everyone else is using that allows you to run all map mods at basically no damage loss. And talking about what everyone else uses, as a hardcore player, I have come to notice that almost everyone these days likes to call themselves a champion. And who can blame them? Permanent Fortify is amazing. Physical damage mitigation used to be one of the most difficult stats to come by in this game. When Fortify was introduced to help out melee characters who have to get all close up and personal with the enemies and putting themselves in harm's way all the time to even out the playing field because of the safety and clear speed advantage ranged builds have over melee. Well, now every ranged build can get this buff that was originally designed to help melee characters catch up to the ranged builds a little bit. And that was only 2 patches ago. Well, fuck that idea apparently. And that is why everyone is a champion now. And I know I'm repeating myself, but back in my day, there wasn't a champion, but the champion. The champion was the one who won the thing. Whatever it was. Football, hockey, badminton, Looping Louis, I don't care. Instead of a whole fucking army of champion, there was one guy or one team who were the best. There was one champion. And his name is... Hey, wait, no, stop it. I'll just cut to the next section. And that is Earthquake. This new melee skill does an obscene amount of damage, and the AoE can easily be scaled to cover most of the screen. And the best thing is, you barely have to scale any attack speed when using it in a Resolute Technique build. And instead, you just use this hammer called the Maroi Urki, 5-link it, and you will never have to upgrade your weapon again. Who plays ARPGs to upgrade their gear anyways, right? That's totally not the point of the whole genre. But Yoji, you say melee was thrown under the bus, and now you say Earthquake is OP? Make up your mind! Alright, first of all, I have played an Earthquake champion, and I can tell you it is ridiculously strong for the little investment you have to make. And secondly, this totally makes sense because... John Cena!
That was pretty good. I like the John Cena. Well played. On the Fortify thing, like, you QQ a little bit, but, like, do you want them to rethink Fortify so it becomes a melee-only thing, or do you not really care about how it is?
I am a fan of it being melee-only.
What do you reckon is the way of doing it?
I don't make the champion get Fortify on every melee hit. So it's basically free Fortify gem.
But what about people use Fortify and Whirling Blades? Because you still get casters with, like, near perma up speed.
Well, that's cool, but you have to get to melee range to use it, and you have to use a melee skill. That's kind of like fair, right? I think that's fair. Same for like putting it on Leaf Slam, because you have to actually melee hit the mob and actually be in melee range of a mob. That can get you killed. Like if you dash into the wrong enemy like that, you die. I think it has a downside while the champion is just oh, you have to play a duelist who has like projectile nodes everywhere, I guess. So
Yeah.
yay.
That's fair enough. One thing which isn't really in your video, but I guess you sort of touch on it, because I've been talking about this a lot in the last few days, is what's your view when it comes to GGG releasing new skills which completely outclass old skills?
I think that's kind of like a thing that comes from design, right? I think I heard Rory talk about it on What's Up Break class, that oftentimes they try to rebalance the skill, for example, elemental hit, and then the skill becomes so different that they just instead end up with another skill. So Wild Strike is basically a rebalance of elemental hit that's just on a new gem instead of replacing the old one. And I don't really have a problem with it. We just end up with a lot of skill gems in the game, like Rain of Arrows right now. Why would you play it over Blast Rain? It feels basically the same. It just looks cooler and it feels better and it's stronger, does more damage, has shotgunning, whatever. So we end up with a lot of skills that feel a bit weird, in my opinion. But it's not like it's taking anything away from us, right? It's just, I mean, you can't play Rain of Arrows anymore, but we now have Blast Rain, which is basically a more fun, better version.
I think it's not too bad for the bows. I think for melee, it's really bad. Because you have Earthquake, which is basically a better static strike, and then Sunder, which is like a better ground slam. And the only way it's kind of interesting is you have the like weapon-based limitations. But even that's kind of messed up. So if you decide that you want to play like a claw build, immediately you can only use these 3-4 skills, which might be worse versions of other skills. So then you don't want to use claws, and then you don't use a whole bunch of uniques, and that I'm not a massive fan of.
Yeah, the limitations are. I mean, thematically it kind of makes sense. I don't really want to ground slamming daggers. Just seems a little bit feels wrong, right? And we have the same limitations for bows and stuff. The thing is, I think the main problem is actually something completely different there, at least from my perspective. And it's that melee is in such a bad spot that only the best few skills are actually viable.
Yeah.
So you can basically play Earthquake and Reef, and maybe Sweep, and Ice Crash.
Yeah.
Anything else that doesn't feel complete shit? Like Static Strike feels pretty bad. Flicker, I guess, but it's like that's not a very melee version of melee, right? Kind of like Reef and Earthquake as well.
I mean, Frostblade is actually really good, but it's not melee at all.
I don't really count it as a melee. Yeah, it's like kind of like Spectral Throw uses a melee weapon and Lightning Strike uses a melee weapon. But it doesn't feel melee to play it. It's more like it's more projectiles. But you scale projectiles, you build a projectile-based tree. You just use a melee. You happen to use a melee weapon. If you want to count those, there's actually some melee diversity then, because those skills feel very different and they use melee weapons.
Yeah.
I guess that counts. And Frostblade actually can use any weapon, right?
Yeah, like Frostblade is anything.
It's like maces, even staves.
Yeah, you can use anything.
No one ever made staves. That seems pretty cool.
It's really good. But then you kind of have the exact same issue where it's like Frostblade is just a better Lightning Strike, and
yeah, also like for some people it's like I think Frostblade is actually a pretty good spot compared to Lightning Strike, because some people really hate Lightning Strike and some people really hate Frostblades, but they both like the other skill. That they like Frostblades. I think you're on the Frostblades is better than Lightning Strike train, right?
Mechanically, it's a vastly superior skill. I much prefer Lightning Strike, and I want to play Lightning Strike, but I have to play Frostblades.
Alright.
Because you have the thing where Frostblades is directional, Lightning Strike is directional, so your character positioning is the same. You can put Fortify in Frostblades, you can't put Fortify in Lightning Strike. Or you can, but you only get it on like the melee swing.
But the thing is, like, you can use Lightning Strike without the melee swing, while you always have to name lock with Frostblade. So it's like kind of like you're making up for a downside with having another upside. So I think it kind of evens out. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, that's
it kind of depends on if you like if you don't like name locking. There are a lot of people just straight out will never play any name locking skills.
Yeah,
a lot of people out there.
That's a fair point.
And I think they are like in relation to each other in a kind of like a fair sport. Because they're mechanically different, they're interesting. I think they're alright. They're not particularly like too strong, but they're also not weak at all. I think the main problem are skills. The main problem are skills like Heavy Strike. Doesn't really have a place in this game anymore. Glacial Hammer. Why would you ever play Glacial Hammer over Ice Crash? Ever?
I've been trying really hard to make a crit Inquisitor Glacial Hammer tree, and every time I make it, I just go no.
Yeah, even if you make the tree, Like, if you put Ice Crash on the same character, like, leave everything as it is, take out Melee Splash and take out Multi-Strike, put in, I don't know, 2 other support gems of your choice and put Ice Crash in, without even recoloring, it would just be better, straight up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same for Ground Slam and Earthquake and, like, all the stuff. You just have to swap out 2 gems, and then it's better. It's the same for Reeve as well. Reeve is just crazy good.
I think my main issue with it is, it's kind of because it makes noob trap gems, and you get the good gems, generally you don't get to like mid-20s or 30s or something. It's like 28, 31. So you'll have someone who's like completely fresh to the game or fresh-ish. They go, oh, Glacial Hammer, wow, this looks really cool. And then they try and make a Glacial Hammer build. The build's shit because they're using fucking Glacial Hammer. And then they go, oh, this is a bad game. And then they stop playing.
I don't think that's what happens a lot. I wouldn't think that's what happened. Because in other games, normally, let's say like any Diablo-type game ever, except for Path of Exile, it's like you get some skills in the early game, and then you will, as you move on, they become superior, strictly worse than other superior skills. So I think the normal progression in any ARPG is you use those beginner skills for a while until you get better stuff. So I don't think many people come in with the expectation of, hey, I got this first skill on the first beach, I'm going to use that at endgame. I don't think many people have that. I think that's something very specific to Path of Exile, that a lot of people have this expectation that any skill has to be endgame viable, which actually maybe doesn't have to be. But my problem is that Glacial Hammer is not even like it's basically Hillock viable, and after that it's horrible. It's not even Act 1 normal viable. That is the problem I have.
No, I agree. I think it's weird that you have these skills where it's just like, this is a purely single target skill, which is kind of okay-ish once you get Melee Splash. And even then, it's still pretty fucking awful. That doesn't make any sense.
It's still just not good. But you can probably, with Melee Splash, if you really tried hard, you could probably use it until Ice Crash, and then there's no reason to use it ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah, look right. But Dual Strike, for example, Dual Strike is a skill I think has a really good niche because it's insanely strong.
Yeah.
In single target situations, it's like an insane boss killer. If you ever played a Dual Strike skill, even as an AoE damage, even with Melee Splash, you can easily get like a few 100k damage on a really tanky build. Just because the scaling comes from both weapons, you basically deal double damage to any other one-handed build. You put an Abyssus on that or whatever, it's just complete destruction. And it's really horrible for AoE clear, but it destroys single targets, and I think that's completely fine.
Wow. And I used to play a lot of Dual Strike Ranger. Like, I did a whole league of just remaking the exact same character over and over and over again. And it was me trying to work out if I preferred Double Strike or Dual Strike. And it was like the exact same tree with like 4 or 5 points shuffled around based on if it was dual wield or not. And I then just equipped a Reeve. And I went Reeve. I don't know.
Yeah, Reeve is a bit better. I played, actually, my highest melee character that I ever played before this league, and I never played melee. I hated melee previous to this patch. I never even gave it a like serious try because I didn't even have a reason to challenge myself with that. Now I kind of like did it for the challenge and for the entertainment of views, because a lot of people wanted me to actually try and give melee an honest try again. We talked about that on stream a lot, and that's why I'm basically playing only melee this patch. I think I made my Earthquake character. I made my support. He's not really melee, but it's like that's like kind of like a special case. And I made Punchy Totems. They were basically melee.
Yeah.
And I'm making my Hedgy staff characters. All builds I never played. I never played staff. I never played any Facebreaker build. The highest melee character I ever made, and all the other ones were like level 30 rage quits, was level 71 Dual Strike character.
Okay.
Because I actually like Dual Strike a lot. I think it's a really cool skill. I don't think it's as any like with the new melee splash buffs. I think it's in a good spot. It's not in a I can get this to level 100 good spot, but it's in a I can have a lot of fun with it and burst down a Zeri in a few seconds with it. Fun spot.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. When you played Facebreaker, did you run into the issue where all the Facebreaker skills feel the same?
I was playing unarmed totems. That's the only Facebreaker thing I ever played, and it didn't feel like anything else I've ever played before. Because it was freaking totem punching things to death with their fists. It was epic.
Yeah. No, it's just like...
I didn't play like Ice Crash or whatever. You can look at Ice Crash Facebreaker. Infernal Blow probably feels really nice. Infernal Blow works, I know that. What else is that you can use?
You can use Infernal Blow, Heavy Strike, Dom Blow, Ice Crash.
No, you can't do Heavy Strike. I know for a fact that everything that ends on Strike doesn't work with Facebreakers.
Really? I swear I was using Heavy Strike for that.
It's one of the rule of thumbs I have in my head that it never works with that. If it's Strike, it's always weapons.
Let me have a look at this chat.
But Ice Crash works. Leaf Slam doesn't work because that would be
No,
cool.
Leaf Slam doesn't work. Shit, no, you're
I'm
right.
I'm so pissed.
It's
My
just
original
Infernal
concept
Blow.
was it's Infernal Blow.
Dawn
yeah,
Blow,
some
Ice
of them.
Crash.
Ice Crash. That's the two that you always see. But my original idea when I saw Earthquake was like I want to do Earthquake face breakers, and I don't know why they didn't why they made it so it's not possible, because it would be so cool. They said, okay, yeah, the damage is too high. Then give it like 50% less damage with unarmed or something. I don't want it to be good. I want it to be fun. I just want to use it with face breakers. I don't want it to be, oh, I want to play this because it's OP. No, I wanted to punch the ground and have explosions happen. That's what I wanted to do.
No, I was saying for a long time they should do that. People kept saying to me, oh, they don't want to introduce like multiple damage reduction multipliers, because I guess it would make it slightly harder to understand. Like if you go on PoE Wiki and it says it has this much damage effectiveness, but then has half damage effectiveness, I guess it wouldn't be that complicated. But I would really like Earthquake face break would be the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, I think it would be. That was kind of like my base idea when I saw it, but then I ended up doing the normal Mace Marrow Yerky, because that's kind of like the best version when you're not going crit stab chase. Like even like at the beginning of the league, that's just what seemed the best for me. Make a champion, get a 5-link Yerky, and not have to use Fortify gem, not have to use Ink AoE gem, just stack damage, supports, and desperation. And yeah, I ended up 6-linking, and so that was the most useless 6-link ever. I still haven't figured out what would be worth putting in there. I think what I actually should have done is I should have sold the Yerky for 10x and bought another 5-link for, I don't know, 1x or whatever it was, and have 9x. That would be cool. That's what I should have done. Instead, I put in random gems and tried things out and then died with it.
Yeah.
9x down the drain.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. If you could like change one skill, like if let's say that GG said, okay, Yoji, you can either change a skill or make a skill, is there something that you really think should be in Path, like a mechanic or something which should be changed or anything?
Yeah, my favorite skill of like a lot of different ARPGs is some skill that allows you to have a laser that you can hold down and just like aim over the screen, maybe with like reduced turn rate or something. I think Diablo 3 has it where I think it played Archon, as it's called, where they transform into this like ethereal dude and laser the shit out of everything. I played that in Diablo 3. I didn't play much Diablo 3 ever, but I love that. I love skills that work like this. It just feels good. I always found it very satisfying to play. Just like hold down the laser button, like just awesome. Maybe because I worked so much with lasers as well.
I know that Ziggy wanted something very similar, but he wanted a bow version. He wanted one where you sort of charged up a power shot, and then the longer you charged it, the larger the like range and width of it went. I feel like a lot of that sort of charge up skill would be pretty good in PoE, because we don't have, well, we have Flame Blast, but I guess that's it. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I don't like Flame Blast at all. I find it feels too clunky to play for me. I'm just not a fan of it. I think it's a cool skill, nice to have in the game, because it's very unique in its mechanics, but it's just not my type of playstyle. I don't know if I would like it if you could like move maybe slower or something, like with the bow skill.
Yeah. Like
actually make it kind of like Mega Man's Blaster, where you you charge it up and you move a little bit slower maybe while you do it as like a downside, and then you release it and it becomes bigger. Like the AoE becomes bigger and the damage becomes higher the longer you charge, up to like a certain limit, of course.
I think that'd be cool.
Kind of like Shrapnel Shot could have been that actually. They could have made that with
yes. I think Shrapnel Shot is really, it's great for leveling. It's really good for early leveling, and then it's just completely and utterly underwhelming.
Yeah, that's what they designed it to be. Like, if you don't know if you read the Rory the development manifesto and the PowerPoint presentation that he gave on some kind of dev conference thing, where he explained like that I wanted to design a skill that is kind of like similar to what Ground Slam is for melee.
Yeah.
It's like a leveling AoE cone version. Something like that.
I think one of the things which is quite good about Flame Blast that I would like to see in more other gems is the fact that you can control your reflect damage. Because because you charge it up, you can run Flame Blast in basically any reflect map, and as long as you know what you're doing, you won't kill yourself. But you can always one-shot yourself to reflect.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people back in the day when Flame Blast was the meta, like had some nice countermeasures where they would scale skill RT on Flame Blast, and on a normally crit build, and then they would just like do like medium charged Flame Blasts, and so that they don't randomly crit themselves for max damage. That was pretty good.
I wish more gems and stuff like that, because, I mean, even if you look at Earthquake, it's like, you get to the point with Earthquake where it's like, yeah, I need to take gems out, otherwise I just stop taking damage, because you just one-shot yourself, because of the way conversion works.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my Hedgie's crit build, the Hedgie's staff build, will get that problem at some point, especially once I start using Abysses.
Are you just going straight Juggernaut with like 30k armor, or are you not doing that?
Yeah, Juggernaut, 30k armor, whatever, like a lot of armor, like 25k or something like this. I think you need like 20-ish k for Abysses from my calculations, and Zeno said about like 25k.
Yeah.
And he's done that a lot, so he's done like tier 15 bosses with Abysses on, so he probably knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. But you're not going to do like Fizz to Lightning or anything, will you?
No.
Okay.
I will do run Hatred and Ice Crash for freezing, and that's it. And no Herald of Ash, no nothing. I'm gonna run Determination as second order.
Okay, you should be. If you're not running Herald of Ash, you should be okay.
Yeah, I'm not running added Fire or Herald of Ash. Instead, I'm running increased crit gems and Fortify.
Oh no, you should be okay versus Ellie Reflect, I think.
Yeah. And First Reflect as well.
Yeah. I don't really like the way that Reflect is. I had a big like combo with someone yesterday on the stream about the fact that, I think you even talked about this on State of Exile as well, didn't you? The way that it doesn't really matter what damage type you are, you just end up going either Chaos or Elemental.
Yep, because you can't go purely Fizz. But
Yeah.
I think that's been in the game for a while now, and I think it's kind of like time to maybe explore pure Fizz, or I think Poison was actually kind of like a way to explore like non-elemental physical builds. But I don't know. Don't know if that's the thing is with Poison right now or with Chaos right now. It just feels. I think people are like a little bit annoyed, by it just being the superior choice every time. Because it's been like that basically all last patch, and everyone expected Poison to get like nerfed a little bit more.
Yeah.
But with its Ascendancy, it's basically like at the moment, as I say in the video, it's like Voltaxic or Bust for bow builds. It's like Chaos Flame Blast, Chaos Spark, Chaos Vault Spark is still better than the normal versions. Because there's not really a downside to being Chaos. Before it was like, okay, I sacrificed some damage and some scalability, but I'm Reflect immune, so it's basically the safe hardcore option. And Voltaxic has been great. Like when there was AoE Reflect in the game, Voltaxic was great. Like a lot of people loved it, and even though it did a lot less damage because you couldn't scale it as much.
Yeah.
I don't think it still does a lot less damage, but I think the overall like damage niveau is so high that even with the less damage, you still need to do enough damage, because you don't need to do like at some point you don't have to do more damage anymore, because if you're killing everything with like really fast enough, clear speed is good, doesn't matter, then you only go for safety and tankiness. I think that the general damage level is just so high that you can go Chaos without losing so much damage that it feels slower to play.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm being a bit quiet. I'm currently doing a terrible job of killing Azaro. And,
Yeah, I'm seeing that he has a lot of charges. And,
yeah, he is. He is on quite a lot. I'm not really
he
doing
looks a bit angry as well, like overall.
Yeah.
You have clicked all the things, right?
Yeah.
He's gonna carry them all over to the last phase, by the way.
Yeah. The first time I did...
It's just normal though, right?
No, this is cruel. The first time I did Azaro, I accidentally gave him lightning resist. Was using Bull Lightning. Gave him all the endurance and... I know, it's just frenzy charges, right?
Those charges are Legacy of Zeal
Yes.
charges. So they give him like all res, physical damage mitigation, and something like some damage, but not as much as the green ones.
Yeah. But yeah, I gave him all of those, and I was under-leveled the first time I did them. I actually swapped to Incinerate halfway through the fight to get the kill.
I think they actually removed the green charges. I've done probably like close to 150 lab runs for my Izaro guide video, and like in general. And I've never seen the green charges again after the alpha.
Okay, so they've taken them off, thank God for that.
I think they've taken them off because what they used to do, they used to give him more damage straight up, like a lot of more damage. Like the Legacy of Vigor, the green charges the boss of the Bloodlines mob get. I think it was pretty much that. And yeah, he would one-shot you with auto attacks if you had like 8 of them. Then, I think they realized that it was not too fair.
While I have you here, how happy are you with Labyrinth out of interest?
It's a really tricky question. I love the Labyrinth for what it is right now. It's kind of like, I hoped it was. I think it has so much more potential. That's my main problem. But I think what it does is all right. It's pretty good. It's like additional content. It's a bit boring to run. after a certain point, like as I said, I run like 150 laps, and it's not challenging at all. The only thing that you can work on is like clearing it faster and like trying to kind of like making it like a speedrunning thing, which I would love to do, by the way. I'm actually like someone, I don't like racing in Path of Exile because I think it's too RNG gated.
Yeah.
But I used to speedrun other games. I used to speedrun Link to the Past. I used to speedrun Metal Gear Solid 2 quite a bit. And I love those games. I love speedrunning in general. I would love to speedrun, make it like a only lap speedrunning hardcore build that can kill Izaro in like half a second and have like the movement skills, insane movement speed, like dual wielding bright beaks or some shit like that, or like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
And then switch to, I don't know, mines, poison blade for mines, like one shot Izaro, like get like basically a mine build with tons of attack speed.
Yeah.
That would be really fun. But yeah.
Have
I think
any idea?
the biggest.
Oh, go on.
One thing, I think the biggest fuck up is that they didn't release the leaderboards for the lab yet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I said, do you have any info on when we're getting it? Because no one seems to know when we're getting it.
Nope, not that I asked for it, but I also don't know. Didn't gather any information randomly. I read like a lot of dev posts and stuff, trying to find anything useful. Ooh, superior bladeful.
Well, 6%, so nothing too much.
GG.
Yeah, that's solo self-bound superior bladeful for the bow build with no damage.
But, you can put bladeful on any build, it's OP, right?
Yeah, I guess. I could probably just swap to a level 1 bladeful, do more DPS than I'm currently doing. But, yeah, I mean, do you have any speculation on why they didn't add the leaderboards? Because it doesn't make any sense to me, because it feels too late now.
Yeah, I think it wasn't ready when they wanted it to be there. And like at the beginning, like first 1 or 2 weeks or whatever. And I think if they released it now, it would actually be worse than releasing it next patch.
Yeah, I agree.
Because if they release it now, everyone would be like, oh yeah, leaderboards, whatever. I'm basically not playing the game anymore. It's not going to bring anyone back, basically.
Yeah.
But if it's there from the beginning of the next league, and then people know, okay, there will be leaderboards. This will be really cool. So what if I actually make a character for this? Because there will be jewels that you can only get from lab running, as far as I know, like unique jewels.
Yeah, they said something about daily unique jewels, and I think that was it.
Yeah, and I think that might actually be the thing holding the whole stuff back. Because maybe the balance testing of those jewels is not ready, something like this. Because without rewards, this is gonna flop. Like racing flops, because it's not actual like. The time that you invest into racing rewards, reward-wise, doesn't give you anything if you're not someone who's just racing for the racing.
Because I think that it's obviously more rewarding with the reward there. But even if they just had the leaderboards and said the reward system's coming later, I would feel more incentivized to farm out my helm enchant if while I'm doing that I can also be trying to beat my own personal record and stuff.
Yeah, they should definitely add like a personal leaderboard where you can like, for every day of like all the past days, you have to have like a calendar or something where you can actually see like all your days, like best times, like all the top 3 times or whatever. You can look back. Okay, that day the lap was pretty easy, so I was able to do like a 3-minute run. The other day was really tricky. It was like 2 golden doors here, 2 golden doors there, but I was able to get a 5-minute run. And then you see like whatever, like I was 20th place last 2 days ago. Yesterday I was 15th place. I'm getting slowly higher up.
What do you think about the whole daily lab rotation thing?
I like it. I think it's cool. It's definitely better than having it like the same stuff every time, and it's also better than having it. I think it's necessary for a lot of people to not be too annoyed, because if it's the same layout every time, like if you die once in the lab and you rerun it, or like even if you like have to log out once in the lab and you rerun it, you will be significantly faster the second time. That's way less annoying to die, and I think that's important, especially for like softcore players who are not used to losing a lot of progress for dying. I think that's a really important point to have in the lab, to not make it feel shit to softcore players, and even to hardcore players. Like when I had to log like at the end of like with the last trial door visible on my first Mercer's lab run, I was so annoyed. I was legitimately annoyed. But I think that it would be cool if there would be a little bit more layouts, because if you've run like the lab 100 times or so, you basically know every time what it is. For example, your lab layout right now that you have, like with where the golden key is, like to the top left of the last room.
Yeah.
The whole layout of the top right corner of the last room, and the whole layout of the golden door map with all the traps is always the same whenever it looks like this, or basically always the same. I mean, there's some RNG to it, but not too much.
I feel like it'd be better if they rebalanced it a little bit. The fact that you have like super easy days and super hard days, because I had a lot of times when I was playing my Mjolnir character, because for Mjolnir I needed the Arc enchant and I also needed the Stormcall enchant, which were really OP. I had days where I wanted to farm lab, but it was a stupid layout, so I wouldn't farm lab those days, because I'd be like, well, if I farm this tomorrow, it'd be so much more efficient.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Like it also can be the other way around. Like if you run the lab on your first lab run, you run through, and you're like, this layout is super easy. Maybe I should play another 2 hours and run some labs. So like instead of starting mapping again, which was my original plan, maybe I will now start farming the lab. And I think that's actually cool.
Yeah, because I had that where I had, this is a super easy layout, and then I farmed lab the entire day. I did like 4 or 5 hours of lab farming on my stream, and of course, because of how dumb enchants are, I got absolutely nothing from it, which is pretty soul crushing. And then the next day, I went to farm labs again, but it was a terrible layout. And then I spent the rest of the next day feeling bad that I didn't just grind more the day before, because it was such an easy layout, if that makes sense.
Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I think that's not a problem, like too much of a problem, because usually, like as you said, running, like getting your enchantments done is nothing that you will. Hey, just because you can't run lab today, it's not like you're gonna miss out your enchantment of today, because you're probably not gonna get it within the next week or so if you just farm it. I think the the problem is that the lab has to be balanced around trading, because people can trade away their enchantments basically. That makes it so that you can't make it too easy to get it, because otherwise everyone would be running around with all their enchantments.
Yeah. Do you think you'd prefer the system where you could have, say, you'd click a helm enchant, you get offered 3 helm enchants, and you picked the one you wanted?
I think that would make it. I mean, there are like 300 helm enchants, and it would make it factor 3 easier to get your enchantment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that would be good.
Do you like how grindy it is at the moment?
I think that the grind should be a bit more fun, but I don't have a problem with how grindy it is, like necessarily. I think it is like too grindy to realistically achieve it, but then it's supposed to be like people were asking for it to be alternative endgame content. And if you could get it done in 20-25 lab runs, that's not alternative endgame content. That's just something you quickly have to get done. It has to be grindy. Like maps are grindy, and they have to be grindy for it to be for the game to feel like prolonged enough. The whole game feels prolonged enough.
Yeah.
I think it just shows that the Labyrinth overall is not too fun to run. Maybe if they made a little bit more challenging version of it, something like that. Like maybe if you could up the, what they could actually do, like maybe they up the difficulty of the Merciless one a little bit, and I think they could tone down Cruel easily without it feeling too easy. By the way.
Yeah.
But even if they tone up the Merciless one a little bit after you completed your first ascendancy, like after you got after you're fully ascended, Izaro goes like, yo, you completed the lab, now you're like a boss and stuff. The next time will be harder because you're already ascendant. And if you want to run this for fun, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
And then we go like full beast mode Uber Izaro, and then you can get like 1 enchantment for normally completing it, and you get offered an additional one for every phase of the previous 2 phases that you intentionally fuck up completely to buff them.
Yeah. I think that'd be good.
That would be a good way to implement it.
Yeah, if you kill Argus, you got another enchant or something, stuff like that.
Yeah, if you kill Argus, you get another enchant, and then like basically for like the treasure keys right now, because I don't think many people care too much for the treasures anyway, because it's item level 68 loot. So yay. Instead, they could just give us additional enchant choices. So if you give him like the triple golem buff, he has a chance. You have a chance to get an additional enchant to choose from. If you give him, holy shit, that was a lot of damage, dude. You're taking so much damage.
I'm fairly ballsy with the way I play this game. Most people, I think, would have logged at this point.
I would just not play, like, try to not get hit as much.
Yeah, that's like another strategy. I mean, I am a bow build.
Yeah, I play a lot. I think I play a lot safer when it comes to when I attack. I think I don't attack when he's in the air jumping at me, for example. I would walk away.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay, I was a bit scared. I know my main thing is I've always been like a flask player. I always base all of my stuff around flasks. So if I know that I can get flask charges, I play overly recklessly because I know my flask will keep me alive. Oh no, I think I'm gonna die. Oh shit, that's a log out.
Yeah, I mean, at least if you're like out of flask charges and surrounded and Kizaru's in the air above your head, then you log out. I mean, that's smart.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my life when I logged out.
It's now 230. That's pretty good. And Kizaru like in your face, swinging.
Yeah. That was good. That was good.
That was pretty legit. You have stream delay, so I can't.
Stream delays OPOP.
That was pretty legit. Pretty legit.
Yeah.
Last time you log out.
Alright, let's try that again, shall we? Try not to give him as many charges. Maybe I should just farm. I think I might just farm so I do more damage because my build is no damage at the moment.
Yeah, prolonging the fight basically makes it so that you have more chances to screw up and die because the fight is longer.
I find that having long fights is basically fine as long as it isn't the charge phase. Because all the other phases, they eventually you can sort them out. But the charge phase puts you on an artificial clock, which none of the other phases have.
What you do with the charge phase, if you have low damage, you only activate 2 of them, and you fight him for the whole thing with full charges, and like right before he leaves, you deactivate the thing so you don't have the charges in the last phase.
I would be fine with that if he had an actual health bar, but it can sometimes be a bit awkward to judge the health on him because it's roughly 33%.
It's pretty much 33%. You can on the wiki they have a picture of where the life bar is, and you can like kind of like see there like little indicators, like little lines up above and below the health bar that you can look for as orientation.
How do you feel?
There's tons of labyrinths. At some point you realize these things. But
like I can roughly judge it, but that's one of those things where to me that just seems like bad user interface.
They should make it so that it's more visible.
Because the fact that yes, you can, if you look hard enough and you learn the sketching and where it is, that makes. See, I always think like my biggest issue with this game, and this is why I'm trying to get this podcast together to get people to talk about it, is that just the way that the game has been. There's clear development choices which have happened, but they're not consistent. So I was talking yesterday in the stream about how they decided that you can't have Parandus boxes in boss rooms for leveling, but you can have them for boss rooms in mapping.
I think that's cool.
Why do you think that's cool? I have interest.
Because leveling is balanced differently. It's been like this all the time in Path of Exile. It's basically leveling is made for beginner players, like balanced around something, and mapping is supposed to be rippy as hell.
Yeah, but see, I think if there wasn't any lag associated with Parandus, I'd agree. It's my issue. It's when
that's another thing.
When like my best example is the dungeon, right? Dungeon's tier 1 easiest Brutus, like it's absolutely face roll, but you don't see what's in the room until you've actually committed into walking into the room. And I ran a map on the stream, and it had 2 Parandus boxes right in the back with a bunch of guardians. And you don't know they're there until you've committed into the room. And when you know that your game has like freeze issues and lag issues, it just seems like a really odd choice to me that you would design it like that.
I mean, I can see the whole lag problem, but they're basically balancing it as if Parandus mobs did not lag anyone.
Yeah.
I find it really, really interesting that they didn't encounter these issues while testing. So, which would mean that it would probably be a network issue, because if they test that on local environments, it would be a network issue. So it seems a little bit weird because most people get these problems, right?
Well, they must have known because we had strong boxes, which were basically the exact same system, which caused lag. And
the problem with strong boxes was that they loading assets is horrible in the game.
The loading pop in, but like a lot of people had issues when there's too much on the screen. So when you had a lockbox like in the middle of a pack of mobs, or like resurrects a silly amount of mobs. So they already knew that there were some issues that people would have with just having so many mobs in one space. Then having...
It's not really the mobs. It's more like it has always been the spawning, or like the spawning of mobs. I think it's a different issue with the Parandus packs, actually.
Really?
Because they are not spawning. It's not a spawning issue. It's like,
they do like
even if they're
have
just there and
respawn
you don't
thing.
kill them, they still make the problem. I think it's actually something else.
No.
They have the respawn thing, but I even get the lag if I don't kill them. If they just like kite them around without attacking them, even I still get the laggy stuff.
I don't know.
Maybe
if
it's because they cast so many skills and they spam them
that
so much. With the
definitely
skill
doesn't help.
animations.
That definitely doesn't help. But when I was like doing the whole trying to work out the Kadira farming stuff, when I first started doing that at the start of the league, I could tell if Kadira was in the instance by the FPS spike when I loaded it. When I loaded Dread Thicket, if Kadira was in Dread Thicket, I would get a larger load screen, so I knew that he would be in there.
Oh yeah, that's what people used back in the day to farm Val areas,
Yeah.
Val side areas, because they caused the same issue.
Yeah.
By the way, there's an important question in chat. Are you using your pots with your feet or your dick?
I have a mouse with buttons on it, so
Yeah, that's what I do as well. People are always surprised when I just like scratch my head and like still insta-pot and like everything, because I have pots on my mouse as well.
Ever used a Razer mouse? I have used a Razer mouse. I've used basically every mouse. I'm using a I think it's a Logitech G600. I prefer it.
Yeah, I have the same.
Yeah.
The same mouse.
Do you have large hands? Because I found that a lot of the other mice were just kind of like too small.
I'm a pretty large guy, but for my size, I have really small hands.
Okay.
I have I don't know if you've ever played the Munchkin card game, but I have the downside of having small hands, so I can't use two-handed weapons.
Okay. The right answer is
No,
dick.
but
Jeez. Okay.
I think it's pretty good. My roommate is like even taller than me. He has a huge brain, it's like boosh, huge claws, and yeah, he used the same mouse because I think we all have the same issue. We have like large hands. It's tricky. I had some really like small Razer Naga or something before, and I just couldn't use it.
Yeah. I mean, I used my Naga for quite a long time. It broke in the end, but I've used so many different ones, and I've always found that I just prefer larger. I just feel like I have more control if the mouse is larger. I don't know why. It might be just the way I hold it, like my grip or something. But
for me, it's mostly that the weight. Before I had a mouse where you can put in weights and put out weights, and I just put all the weights in the mouse. I was like, yay, heavy mouse.
Yeah,
why am I not?
It might be the weight now I think about it.
Someone was asking why I'm not participating in the solo self-found thing. Because there's so much I want to try in this game right now that I can't try when I'm playing solo self-found.
Yeah.
Like so many uniques I've never used. I'm playing melee this patch basically as a theme, and I've basically never played melee before. So I wanted to do Hedgie's staff build, try that out, and see how that goes. And I can't really go like, okay, I'm gonna play solo self-found Hedgie staff.
Yeah, that's not
probably
bad.
the worst idea you can. Like, even if you're not playing Hedgies, but like any crit staff, I think crit stays is still the worst choice.
I mean, that's
Because
near
rolling
impossible
crit
to
stays is
craft.
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really feel like playing something like that. If I would probably play Corsic Arrow Champion. I think is really easy to gear. It's completely bonkers right now. Or like either Champion or Scion, but Champion is probably better for defenses, while Scion would be insane for 100% PS chance. Although you could get that as Champion as well. You could take the 50% PS on the tree.
Yeah, that's
and
what I
take
did on
PS
my
gem.
tree.
Yeah, take the PS gem and then still have 100% PS.
Yeah.
Or like use a PS quiver or whatever.
Why did you just rejoin the instance you were in? Because I wanted to kill the mob blitz. I'm actually surprised as many people are playing the solo self-found as they are. And I'm also like, I'm really surprised that. So I'm doing that. You know, I told you about. I'm doing the whole. I'm just gonna farm Kadiro and just re-roll my build into whatever Kadiro gives me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised how many people are playing it straight when. Like, for example, I understand why someone like Noogie or someone like Raze or Mathel or Havoc, I understand why they're doing it, because for them, hitting 100 is a legitimate thing. And for them, there's that actual sense of, I will hit 100. But I'm actually surprised by how many... Oh, go on.
Yeah, because they know they can do it, and for you it would be the first time I would be guessing, at least in hardcore. Yeah. It's so much time investment.
I've never cared about leveling this game. I don't know why, but I've never cared to push past a certain level. So I think the highest I've ever gotten to is, I think 90 is the hardest I've ever gone. And you just kind of go, I want to play something else now.
For me, I think it's 91, and my support right now is actually also 91. And once that levels up, it's going to be my highest level character ever. And I think I'm going to push that to like 95 or so if I find the time. Because just from a fun standpoint, I think it's the most fun I ever had playing a build. But that's because I'm one of these dumb people who always pick support in every game and think other people will notice I'm helping. It's like when you play League of Legends or whatever, like Dota, Heroes of the Storm, you play a support, and all you ever get is the blame when you don't do your job. But if you do your job, everyone's like, the carries are so good this game, it's insane. I'm like, did you see how many people I just stunned? Everyone's like, nope, didn't see that. But what's stunning? I don't know what it is.
Whenever I play MOBAs, I often just play either tanks or supports just because no one else wants to. And it's the easiest way to win games is have an actual team comp.
Yeah, that too. It helps a lot. So everyone wants to play assassins and carries and whatnot because they want to be the like. If I don't do the carrying and the damage, then nobody will. But it's actually like if you have a proper tank player, it helps a lot. That's why also in MMORPGs I've always been the healer and the tank, because if the DPS is bad, the run takes a little bit longer. If the tank or the healer is bad, you lose the run.
Yeah. I'd
rather
tank
do I'd rather do the tanking as well. It's just except for Terra, that's the only game I ever played DPS with, because that DPSing actually took skill, and if your DPS keeps dying as a tank, you still can't do shit.
Wait, so do you like play a lot of MMOs? Why did you skip WoW out of interest?
I kind of was late to the party for a while. When I started playing MMOs way later. I started playing MMOs when WoW was like 2 years old. And at that point, I felt like, oh well, I missed all the hype. I don't really revisit multiplayer games later on. Don't really know why. But I always want to be like either I'm in there from the start or I just don't.
Okay. Because I actually didn't start playing WoW until mid to the end of the first expansion, so I was pretty late into it. But I've played that game for about 8-9 years now.
Yeah, the thing is, what I'm always sad about, like, I don't think for WoW my main problem is, I also like for MMORPGs in general, I waited for the games to actually become better, which is like kind of like not happening. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but MMORPGs are like, quality-wise, always way lower than every other game at the same time, and I used to be like mainly playing single-player games.
No, I've been really wanting for the genre to just do something interesting, and it's stagnating so hard.
I think Guild Wars 2 did a good job, but they did so much different that they actually appeal to a different crowd, not the actual MMO people, because it's not a real like a theme park MMO RPG as most people come to expect. People always say that Guild Wars 2 has no end game, it sucks, it's casual. But I think that's what they went for. It's like it's not like, oh, they screwed up, they didn't get the end game that they wanted to. No, they didn't want grindy end game. That's what they went for. It's a game for casual people. It's a game for people who are working 8 hours a day. And I think it achieves that really well. And while I was doing my PhD, I was playing the crap out of that game for 3 hours a day because more I couldn't really play. But it was enjoyable still.
I know, I liked it. I didn't like how Zergy it was sometimes, where it's just like you just have endless waves of deaths to kill a boss and stuff.
Oh yeah, also the whole what's it called? The whole world event thing was poorly executed. I think the game has a lot of problems, but overall I have like 600 hours in this game, and all of them have been insane fun.
That's really good.
So I don't really regret it. Also, it's buy to play, so I paid like my $40 on it, got 600 hours of immense fun with my friends out of it, and then quit the game. And I don't regret ever doing that. It was awesome. I never expected it to be a game that I will play for 8 years. So I played it for 1 year, and that year was awesome. And I went in with the right expectation as well. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, Terra I played for like 1 year. Terra I played because it finally was like the first game that looked like it executed the real-time MMO combat well, and it actually did. But it had the problem of Asian MMOs where it's like, everything is already explored when we like you get a patch and everything is already explored because it has been out in Korea for two months, two years now. So yeah, I as a player who loves to explore content and try out all the new freaking weird mechanics and interactions, that kind of kills the game for me.
Yeah, when all the theory crafting's been done before you've even gotten the patch, within a year of it being released, it kind of kills it.
I mean, even with that, I was able to theory craft a few things that actually like swap like what were translated over to Korea, which with like 2 of my friends, which I was really proud of.
That's
I
cool.
was like doing I was in all of the first boss kills, like first EU first boss kills.
Oh, that's cool.
As an OP tank and an OP healer. So I had a lot of fun. I was actually like playing that game pretty hardcore because that was the time where I did my civil service, which is kind of like what you can do instead of military service. And I basically had to work like 7 hours a day of the easiest work ever. Had a lot of money, had a lot of time, and yeah, just no life that game.
Yeah. Did you see Mana Cookie get PK'd? I haven't seen that, but apparently.
No, I haven't. I would love to see that. Mana Cookie is hilarious.
Yeah. Sneaky, have you got the link for that? Because I'd be quite curious to see it.
Yeah, I've PK'd people before. I've PK'd one of my guilds, this guildmates this league. He was like, we were like, can't really do what's it called, Jungle Valley boss. And he's like, I can kill Jungle Valley boss for you. I can join the group and stuff. I'm like, okay. He's like, okay. He joins in, and he's like, are there any damage mods? And I'm like, from the top of my head, I was like, I think no, there don't no damage mods without looking myself. He wasn't looking either, so it's not a real PK. And there were no damage mods except for boss damage, which I didn't have in my head because we were not supposed to do the boss. So I was like, yeah, there's no damage on this map. Yeah. And he went in, and I was there with him with my Guardian support, Opval Discipline, and he was SRS. He summoned all his SRS. I went in, triggered the boss, enfeebled the boss. He got one attack out, like one of these EK things, before I got the enfeebled 10 chains down, and he got one shot.
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
He was like, whoop.
I've managed to get a fair few of my viewers killed, which I'm quite proud of.
Nice.
Yeah.
I should start that as well, like start PKing my viewers.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things they joke because I did that. I had that week of just leveling loads of builds. Chat got used to me being shit at the game, and then I actually started playing like my end game characters again, and they were trying to give me super rippy maps. And there's always that one dude in chat who's super confident that he'll carry the pleb streamer through maps. And both times that's happened, they've died.
Nice.
Yeah, Simon in chat ripped. What was it? It's the Maru Koi Wowie unique totem map. I don't know if you've done that one.
Which one? The tier 6 one? All Max Sanctum?
No, not that one. It's the one. I might be like a tier 8. I'm not sure. It's you kill mobs, and when you kill mobs, you gain light radius. And then at the end.
Oh, is Maokun? Oh, no, Wakawarua too.
Maybe. The one which
with the proximity shield boss.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, that's Wakawarua Tuahu.
Okay. Yeah.
You have to know that name. That's a very important name to know.
Yeah. He ripped to the Templarinos at the end of that.
But, you ripped to the copy of your system? Because you find your own class.
Yeah, so we were both Templars, so there were 2 Templars in there. But the thing which was funny about it is we were mapping, so I really don't want to do that map. I really don't want to just, it'll be fine. I'd never done the map, I had no idea what it was, but I was like, it'll be fine, I'm sure we'll be absolutely fine. If you go into the boss room and he dies, I'm like, oh, sorry, Simon.
So you didn't even get to the fun part, or did you actually clear
it? I full cleared it solo.
You actually, because the boss is really annoying, right?
I was doing the boss as Cyclone.
That's one of the better builds to do it with.
Oh no, it really isn't.
It is, believe me.
How come?
you might think it's not all like top tier other builds that ignore proximity shield. That's like ED and Poison Arrow. Everything else, like trappers as well. Trappers can do that as well.
But you need to remember it's a proximity shield mob which spams Smoke Cloud and Chill. And I'm trying to... Yeah, and Frostwall. And I'm trying to run on top of it with Cyclone. And when
it's horrible as melee, but it's even worse. I think the worst build I ever did it on was range attack totems, because he would just
that would be
freeze my totems. GG, well played.
What do you think of the Iron Commander stuff? You've managed to play around with that at all?
I got one in permanent hardcore, and I played around with it a little bit. I got it from a friend. He was like, I got one in permanent hardcore if you want to try it, and I respec one of my characters and digged around with it a little bit. I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I'm a bit sad because I like range attack totems, and it kind of makes range attack totems a bit useless, I guess. And it's kind of like the better way to play range attack totems now. Yeah. But I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun to play. The playstyle is awesome. I like that the totems actually look like a ballista and not like a totem.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think that in general is a cool thing to have. I think flame totem would be cool if it looked more like I don't know, like a dragon or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like something that spits fire, and not just like
Or
this.
even if they just carved like a mouth into the statue or something.
Yeah, just that it comes out of like an open mouth or something. Yeah, that would be way cooler. I get it for the generic totems, like range attack and spell totem, because they would have to have like general animation that works with everything. But yeah, that would be cool. That's kind of like my first thought when I saw, hey, it's an actual ballista. That's cool. Wait, why isn't fire flame totem the same thing, or shockwave totem? Like all the totems with something in there. Like if the decoy totem would like a guy, I don't know, giving like the middle finger to someone taunting him. I don't know, something like this. Like it's like a I don't know, face full of gleam.
Well, they could
like,
do something kind of like the ancestral totem, like just have like a jester or something coming out the top of it or something.
Yeah, something like this. That would be cool.
Do you think they'll ever do like a graphical overhaul of some of the old stuff?
I think they should. I think there's some stuff that would be cool if it looked a little bit like the animations look a little bit outdated. Like general, like for example, bow auto attacks and split arrow with that. They just felt a little bit better and had a little bit more impact to the sound. Like do a little bit of an overhaul, because back then when all of that was made, that's like so many years ago. It feels like an eternity ago. And if they actually did that, overhauled a few things. Like if you look at Act 4, how much better it looks than Act 1 and 2 and 3. Like even the end of Act 3 looks so much better than like the beginning of Act 3, for example. Like City of Sarn and all that looks kind of like nice, but if you look like the Scepter of God, like the last part, everything after Piety that was added later, that would be pretty cool. We got the mana cookie thing, by the way.
Yeah, I'll quickly get out of this boss thing and I'll watch it.
Do it while you do the boss. That's easier.
What do you think that we're gonna have all these like skill revamps hidden behind MTX? That worries me a little bit. That instead of
that would be alright. I would be fine with that.
Oh, you'd be chill with that if they updated all the skills, but you had to pay for them.
I would be cool with that. I think that's like it's completely not pay to win, but I think it wouldn't be good for the game necessarily. But I would be okay with that as a decision you can make. I think it would be better for the game if the early game felt better, and a lot of that would be like make the early game skills feel better. Like for example, Fireball. You shoot a ball of fire that explodes, but it sounds like that's all the sound of Fireball. Like it doesn't make any sounds. It would be like boosh, explosion. Animation, even the animation of the explosion is barely visible at all. If that would look cooler, I think that would go a long way.
I mean, have you used Magma Orb recently? Magma Orb is the least impressive skill I've ever seen in a game.
Oh, I love it for the comedic value, actually. It looks really funny. I played LMP, GMP, Reign of Splitter style of Shards Magma Orb totems. Just because it blobs everywhere. That was really, really fun.
I know. It's just the fact that it's the size of like a basketball. If they just made it slightly larger, they wouldn't even have to buff the AoE. But if it felt weightier, instead it's just like this stupid little thing just bouncing along, and it's just there's nothing cool about that. I don't think. I don't know. I just watch this rip thing.
Even quality on Temp Chains is amazing. I read in chat. Every curse has insane quality because every curse gets a curse effect with quality. That's why a lot of supports actually link enhance to their 21, 20, or like even actually getting 3 quality on most curses is better than getting an additional level of your wallet. That's how crazy it is. But yeah, curse is OP. What do you think of Heretic's Veil?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I've planned so many builds around it. I think because it's one of those things. I think it's more stupid than Lightning Coil because Lightning Coil is OP, but at least it serves a purpose because it helps evasion, and evasion needs something. So instead of fixing evasion, you like just have Lightning Coil. Whereas I don't think Heretics was needed by anyone. I don't think. It's just good.
Yeah, kind of. I think the same. It kind of makes Blasphemy, which is already good, even stronger.
Yeah. I know. It's like with all of the items, even stuff like Voltaxic, you can have it be that good, but you can do it in an interesting way. So something I was talking about in chat the other day was because someone said, oh, they should just gut Voltaxic. And I said, well, if you gut Voltaxic, it doesn't solve the problem. It just removes it from the game. They could have it where like the chaos conversion was based on something. So for example, you gained 25% chaos conversion based on every other unique you had equipped or something. And at least then you'd have to somewhat think around, oh, how am I going to fit this around my gear? And then if you want to use a Voltaxic and a Lightning Coil, all of a sudden getting your resists is very difficult if you then need to use like 3 or 4 other uniques. And then decisions are made, you know? I just think these standard OP items are just bland, you know?
I can definitely see the angle you're coming from. Voltaxic, I think the problem with Voltaxic is that Chaos is just better than elemental damage. And it converts it 1-to-1 without like reducing the damage. Like it's not converted at 80% effectiveness, it's just converted, and then it's just better. There's like no downside. You even get the shocking. You even get the shocking.
No, that's stupid. They could have done it without shock and it would still be fine.
I mean, back in the day, there was a time when it was not a problem, because back then, like, Voltaxic was kind of like the low damage safety option of bows, while like Wind Ripper and Rare Bows was the high damage, high clear speed, less safety of Reflect option. And Voltaxic was still expensive back then, but not as much as it's not as much used as it is now. I don't know. I think Voltaxic isn't even really the problem. I think the problem is more that Chaos and Poison is just in a too good spot for what it like. It counters all the downsides other things have without
I agree
having
completely.
downsides itself.
I mean, if they suddenly deleted Poison from the game, Voltaxic would still see use, but it'd be in way, way lower numbers. No one would be complaining about it if Poison suddenly just got removed. But okay, I'm gonna watch this rep thing, see how pathetic this PK is.
It's a Guardian that's good already.
Have you seen the Cybrix rep? That's my favorite rep in the world.
Man.
Which one?
The Cybrix, I die, and when he's with Bob,
yeah, I know that one.
That's my
That's
favorite thing in
classic.
the entire game.
What?
Okay, that was sketchy.
Are we good?
Boss.
I got stream delay.
I need to move. I'm fucking lagged out. Am I okay?
No.
Am I okay or what?
No.
Did you just open the box?
Yeah, just right on top of it.
Oh my god, man.
Nice.
There it goes. I'm fucking dead. You shouldn't have popped that box like that, man. It's a revive monsters.
Wasn't that Beyond?
How did you look so?
It looked like Beyond
Of course,
Revive
it's
something
revive
else.
monsters.
That is definitely a Baxis.
Yeah.
There's also
Right?
100 for this thing.
Yeah.
too.
Or it's the fire guy.
Damn.
There's nothing I can do.
Didn't he
about
try
that.
to
You can't-
log,
you can't
or
open
did
that
he-
box
No,
out.
he didn't
just
try to
not-
log.
couldn't-
He just tried to TP out or something.
Rip the dream.
Because I think if he could have just logged,
He could have.
probably.
He could have done it when he first
I need to
froze.
move.
I probably would
I need to
have
move.
disconnected
I'm
them
lagged
personally.
out. Am I
What
okay?
I did, I was in a similar
No,
situation
no.
at one point. I was
Okay,
like
what?
with my
No.
support. I was mapping with a lot of random people from my friend list. I don't really know. Like I have like so
Oh
many
my
people that
God,
have
man.
me
There
friended,
it goes.
and I didn't
Fucking
really.
dead. You should have popped that box like
So
that,
I
man.
ended up mapping with a lot of random people. And I did twice where someone just opened a box in my face, and I didn't even think. I just like when someone opens an unID'd box next to me in hardcore in a tier 7+ map or even in a low map, I just insta log. I don't even care what the box says. I don't even care to try to get out. I just log. There's no reason to stay there.
Yeah.
Someone YOLOs the box, I just leave and I don't party with them again.
Yeah, that's fair.
Unless they tell me, oh my god, this was a mistake. I misclicked it. That happens. But if someone like regularly YOLOs boxes, I'm not mapping with them. It's nothing I do.
I still think
But
the
yeah,
sketchiest thing in the skate. Oh, sorry, go on.
But it's crazy how much like lags and frame drops he gets. It's like freeze, dead.
I still think the sketchiest thing in this game, though, when it comes to groups, is group running lab. The second that one dude gets about 5 meters in front of you, and he starts pulling switches without saying anything, and then suddenly all the traps start going in a different direction. That's killed me. I've never died in lab except for my orrowing into a locked room, but that's nearly killed me so many times, and I very rarely have like near deaths to traps and stuff.
Yeah. By the way, the other 91 character I got was one where I didn't open any boxes, because back in the day, before I had an SSD, I died to boxes regularly because it just froze me almost every time. And my other 91 character was just survived so long because I just was like, just not opening any boxes. I didn't even open counter boxes anymore.
No,
And that was how I survived. But now that I have an SSD, I don't get only exiles lag me just like a tiny bit. Everything else, and like if it's a revive with onslaught and there are a ton of mobs around, I don't open them or I like corpse remove. But that's, right now it's kind of fine. Still don't open many boxes while leveling because I don't think it's worth doing it in general. Like unless it's like basically open jeweler boxes, Katos if I think it's worth it. Armorer's box if they're already rare and I feel like barling them. But also while leveling I don't really do that.
I mean, I'll open anything because I just go XP, so I just go for it. But I often will say no to a box. Like, if I ID a rippy box and I haven't got like a freeze removal flask, I'll just walk by it.
Oh yeah, I don't do freeze flask if I don't freeze, but I'm a Wanderlust addict, so I almost always freeze immune while leveling.
Tarke, I see you sold your mana. How much chaos did you get? Oh yeah, I got like 50 chaos shit.
You sold your mana.
Yeah.
By the way, what's that flask? Is that Lion's Roar?
Yeah, Lion's Roar. I got it
Oh, nice.
off Kadira for, I think it was 328. Yeah, it was 328. And I saw it and I was like, oh, I don't know if I should get it or not. And chat was going crazy. And I decided I had to farm ledge and keep my instance open for a bit. I then hopped back. I'm so glad I bought it. It's one of the coolest flasks in the game.
Yeah, since the buff that you can actually use it twice, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like a really nice damage buff flask. Especially for self-found, it's a large damage buff that you can't easily get. Also the what's it called, the consecrated ground flask.
Yeah.
That actually has like 40% increased damage on it, by the way.
Yeah.
If you need damage.
No, those are already good.
Yep, they're pretty good.
I like that subtle
by the
hit.
way,
Like, just in case you need damage for any particular reason. Shit build.
Yeah, I heard. I mean, you're self-found. I've played self-found enough. Damage is, especially if you're playing an attack build, damage will be horrible for a while. That's why I would play like Caustic Arrow or something that scales with levels and just ignore the whole get a new weapon thing. You just basically get any 5-link bow and you're good to go with that build.
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
My full plan was to go Caustic Arrow, but I forgot to Mule because I, for some reason, completely forgot you can't get Rapid Decay or Void Manipulation. And Caustic Arrow without Rapid Decay and Void Manipulation is pretty god-awful. But I even had a 5-link bow drop for me at like level 30 or something. And it's just like...
Why didn't you just go Mule? I mean, you can.
I know.
Right?
You just say just go Mule, but I then got a Death's Harp drop, and I thought, oh, I'll just use Fizz and I'll get one at some point. And
but you're not using a harp now, right?
No, I got a GG rare with 240 top end.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Then you're doing that little damage. What's your tree look like?
Well, this is the thing. I designed my tree around Caustic Arrow. I've started picking up nodes, but I need to do a big respec. I had a big debate earlier on because I could respec my tree and do damage. But if I respec before I get into farming Kadiro and then I get something else, I'll feel like an idiot.
Yeah, then your respec is gone.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been kind of just going, I'm just going to have to make do with having a suboptimal build. I'll farm Kadiro and then I'll do my respec.
Have you thought about doing like a half-assed respec where you go like Iron Grip or something?
If I wanted to do anything, I'd just grab Point
Blank.
Blank.
What it looks like. Holy shit.
Point Blank would be the easiest 3 points of like I suddenly now do damage.
Oh, yeah, Point Blank. Yeah, just do go Point Blank.
Yeah, that's
I would expect the crit.
Yeah.
Just go one.
That was my thought process.
Yep, sounds good.
But there was a very long debate on stream of like, I just don't want to use my regrets. I don't want to use my respects. But I've been.
How many? I mean, you can get like 24 respec points from just from quests.
24 from doing all the quests, and then you'll
do a lot of
easily have
respecking. I know.
20 or 30 regrets from a bit of Kadiro farming, so it shouldn't be an issue.
Yep. Yeah, Kadiro can sell like 10 regrets or something, 5 regrets.
I think I've had up to 20 of them, but yeah, you can get 10.
20. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had like a 10 once, which was all right. I had like one currency deal so far where I was not sure if it was worth taking it. It was one alchemy for I don't know, like 25 coins or so.
Oh, I get that a lot.
Pretty.
Yeah.
That was pretty scammy.
It is.
Like, normally the currency deals are some of the best ones you can get.
Yeah. What do you think about Kadiro and going into the game and all of that stuff?
I think it's cool for one league, but it's nothing that should stick. I think it would be cool if they kept the fat guy around for. So like the NPC a lot, like the voiceover is awesome, and the whole flavor of him is so good. I think they just nailed the NPC. I would be sad to see him like not return at some point with something, you know, like maybe make it so that he can like randomly appear, but it's like very rare. Not maybe not like Krilson level rare, but you know what I mean, just like very rare, like exorbitant level rare, and that he will then offer you some item, but not for coins, because like the whole coin stuff. Keeping the boxes in the game, if they do that and they don't optimize them, people will riot and they will like go on the barricades. Because they should just make it so that he randomly appears and gives you I don't know, deals maybe for chaos even or something like this. That could work.
Yeah, they could do. Or maybe if they just had, when he appears, there'll also be a guardian somewhere. You then hunt down the guardian, that way you can keep some of the bosses in.
Oh, they could make it like they could make it like a master mission where you see him and he's like hunt down the guardian, find the treasure, and then you find the treasure and you open the chest.
And it's a key or something, or a coin.
You get like the Parandus coin, it's like a big fat coin, and you hand it in and you get the item that he offers. And he will show you the item before, so you can basically decide, do I want to do the quest for it or not. That would be cool.
I've got a question for Yoji. Do you think it'd be a good idea to give every first character in the league a time limited premium stash to make it easier for new players trading? I'll let you answer that and then I'll answer afterwards.
I think every player should have one premium stash tab by default. I think I'm with Ziggy on that one. He's the one I got it from. And I think that's great. It's like kind of like have a gateway stash tab, basically, where you have this one premium stash tab that introduces people into in-game trading. And then they make it so that you even have like a small tutorial thing that will tell you, hey, you can, if you place item in here and you right-click it, then you will get, you will be able to sell it to other people and make it public. I think that would be great, because I don't think in any case a feature like this should be gated behind a paywall, no matter how small. I think I answered it on the podcast as well. Like if that would be in the game when I started the game, I probably would not be playing Path of Exile today, because I'm very critical of any form of like pay for convenience. I'm not a fan of that. And it's definitely like if I came into this game now and I would be like, if they just implemented that, what will be next? That's kind of like what you would think. What's the philosophy behind that? And it just doesn't fit with GGG's philosophy in general, in my opinion.
No, I agree 100%. I think there is absolutely no reason. I don't even think that they should be gated to premium. I think it's something everyone should have. I think that just having it through stash tabs would be enough to make people buy stash tabs anyway. But everyone should have access to at least one, because I often get people coming into my stream now saying, Tarke, can you sell this item for me? I can't sell items.
What? Oh, I actually never had that happen.
Oh, I get that quite a lot. It might be because I've had quite a few people recently who have, like, they've never played the game before and they've stuck around and they're completely fresh and I've been like helping them through. But I've had like 3 or 4 people do that.
Yeah, I have some really new players as well, but I know like 3 of them that I know of that just started, and one of them is one of them actually got a premium, like 1 premium stash tab for that. He was just like, yeah, why not? The game seems really cool, and even like while he was still playing his first character, he decided the game is cool enough. He wants to give it an honest try, anyways. Yeah. But yeah, I can definitely see why someone would not want to invest into the game before he has seen the end game, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I always have to tell people that you need to pretend the game has a cost. I just say pretend the game has a cost, and that cost is like 6 premium stash tabs.
Yeah, but then it is really scummy to call it a free-to-play game.
Yeah, no,
it is. Then they should just make the game have a cost and make it... You know what I mean? That's like the whole problem of the free-to-play games. I personally love buy-to-play games. I actually prefer buy-to-play games if they... if you almost died to Barrows. Nice.
No, I didn't almost die. What's this almost?
But yeah, when you I don't really like when there's like a free-to-play tag on the game, and I have no problem with buy-to-play if then the game after the buy-to-play thing is not pay-to-win at all. I prefer buy-to-play over pay-to-win, basically.
No, I agree completely. I don't understand this mentality at all. You invest so much money in games and you don't even know mid-game or late game. I think it's fair to make money with stuff like that, and I'm a new player. Well, I think the issue you have, R3, is that... Okay, so someone says, oh, Tarke, how do I get into trading? Right? I need to tell them to either go download a third-party application, put their account info into it, which a lot of players just don't want to do, or I need to say, go and buy a stash tab, because the actual in-game trade system is shit. Or it's maybe not shit, but it's completely outdated. the fact that you're forced into either using an awkward third-party program, which requires some setup, so you then need to go look up guides and this, that, and the other, or spend money, is unfortunate gating. Saying, oh, is this game really cool? Yeah, it's really cool. Go spend 20 quid and get a cool armor set. That I can do. That I think is completely fine. They're just the base of, if you want more flexibility, have more stash tabs, that's fine. But straight up gating stuff, I don't think is good at all. And they could just put a cost on the game. And speaking as someone who spent a fuck ton of money on this game, like too much money, I have nearly every single supporter pack. GGG is surviving off whales.
That's how they made the whole model in general. Like if you look at the prices of everything, it's not designed so many people can buy it. So I don't know if that's actually a good model. I mean, it works for them apparently, but I don't know if it would work better if the microtransaction were actually like micro. And at the moment, they're more like major transactions. It's like spending for 40 euros, I can get a new game.
Yeah, exactly.
I can buy Dark Souls 3 now.
Yeah.
And spend 200 hours on that. Or I get an Arctic armor set in Path of Exile. It's a really tough decision to make. The main reason for me to buy things in this game is because I want to support GGG. That's the only reason. Not because the MTX is nice now, but I played this game for 2.5 years without spending €1 on it.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun. And then I decided, hey, I played this game so much, I really like the company. I think I can buy like a supporter pack. So I bought like the $50 supporter pack or whatever.
Yeah.
That was in 2.0. That was not earlier. I bought in 2.0. I spent my first supporter pack money.
Yeah. I think a lot of the system hasn't been updated. The fact that there hasn't been any sort of price readjustments, because their price system was based around, we are a tiny indie game, we need your money. They're now they're still a small company, they're now a much larger game. And I feel like they could probably benefit from revaluing their microtransactions.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Project PD made a good video about that.
Yeah, no, that was a very good video.
A lot of funny points about hookers and stuff, but overall it was a pretty good points made in a really interesting way.
Yeah. PoE is free to play. They need some way to pay for servers and maintenance. That argument I kind of disagree with, but I'll get to that in a second. GGG could easily assign certain points for account achievements and offer freebie and platform. Come on, before you really want to trade, you spent a couple of hours in this game, maybe more hours you played games for $40. How long you think a new player will play to reach into Cruel or even Merciless? Well, like, my issue with that is that, so if someone's completely fresh to the game and they come into my stream, what I recommend is I say, go look at these, like, 4 YouTubers, pick a guide, come back, I'll tell you if I think that's a good guide. So people go and do that, they go, okay, cool, there's this, and this. And someone in the guide recommends like a 5 chaos item or whatever, and they decide they want to buy a 5 chaos item. Tarke, how do I get chaos? Oh, it's simple, just do a little bit of trading on the side, save up, you'll get it while you're leveling. The fact that you shouldn't have to do an arbitrary amount of time R3 or to spend an arbitrary amount of money, you should just have access to all features of a game from launch. If you look at D3, I know D3 always gets raged on, I always get shouts out whenever I compare the two games. I paid for D3 once. And they're still updating it, right? I know it's Blizzard. But if suddenly PoE ran out of money, like if no one ever bought a microtransaction again, they'd be able to keep the servers alive. They may not be able to push new content, but they'd be able to keep the servers alive. So I don't think GGG is incredibly reliant on little Timmy buying his 1 stash tab to keep the game running. So I think that argument's kind of dead. I don't know, what do you think about that, Yoji?
I think it's like the whole point of GGG has to make money and all that. Yeah, they have to make money. They would make more money if the stuff would be better priced.
Yeah.
I think they would sell more premium stash tabs if people had one that was explained with a tutorial in the beginning. I think they would make more money with that. Because one premium stash tab will... It's kind of like, I think he said it's like a gateway stash tab. You will find out, okay, this stash tab is really cool. It's really more awesome than all my other stash tabs. I can price items on there. At some point, it will be full of items that you want to sell. And then you're like, okay, if I want to be more efficient about this whole selling stuff, because you will see, okay, I can price the whole stash at 1 chaos or 2 chaos. That's really cool. So if I had like 5 of them, I could have them at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chaos. I could just dump my items in there and be way faster and level more, play more, and then you get hooked in the whole like like trading thing that we all know and love. That's basically would be a great gateway for that.
Yeah. I know. I feel like a lot of people, they either embrace trading early or they say, fine, I'm never going to trade in this game. I know a lot of people who do that. Say, I will never trade. And yeah, as you say, if you start getting hooked in on it, then you're far more likely to participate than never having access to it to begin with, you know?
Yeah, I think what's limiting Path of Exile way more right now is than anything is that people probably try out the game and then leave because they don't like something of it. Because the early game feels horrible. Because what was it? People always say like, oh, most people don't even kill Brutus. I don't really think it's necessarily because they can't kill Brutus.
Yeah.
I think it's because they don't want to kill Brutus. They just don't like the early game. I've tried to make my roommate, who's like one of the best theory crafters in any game I know. He's a hardcore Dark Souls player. He's done Dark Souls challenge runs, Demon Souls, whatever, like all the crazy shit.
Yeah.
He's one of the most hardcore gamers I know, and he's really good at theory crafting. He would love Path of Exile if he could get into the game.
Yeah.
But whenever I start playing with him, I try not to like interfere too much with him. I like give him like an early tree for the first few levels, explain a little bit about scaling, because he's good with that stuff.
Yeah.
And he basically could theory craft a Path of Exile build that works perfectly fine at level 100 right now for you. Although he never played the game past Act 2 normal.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that because he said the gameplay feels shit.
Yeah.
And I told him that in late game the gameplay will feel better. And he's like, yeah, but it's not worth like playing a lot of shit time through a lot of annoying time.
Yeah.
Get to a point where it's then sometimes maybe cool, maybe not. He says like he doesn't even know if it will feel good to him, right? All he knows right now it doesn't feel good, and he's not really willing to invest like, I don't know, 10, 20 hours of not fun gameplay into something when he could just instead play fun games that he enjoys right away.
I have the
I can
exact
totally
same
see it.
issue with, I think ARPGs and MMOs are incredibly outdated because MMOs have the exact same problem, and that's why most new MMOs struggle, is the MMO and ARPG experience is very similar. It's often you get this one shit skill, and then after 50, 100 hours or however long, you then get access to the glorious end game. And I don't think people should have to sink weeks or days into a game to then unlock fun. But also going back to something R3 said, I have a friend who's a super hardcore PvPer, like top rated, and also a super diehard RuneScape player. And the thing he enjoyed most about RuneScape was trading. And I said, the reason why you should play this game is you would really get into the trading, the economy. And because of stash tabs, he doesn't. Because he can't get into the economy without investing, in his opinion. And that's what would hook him on the game.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening as well. There are a lot of players who like that kind of stuff. Don't really know how healthy those players are for the game, because people abuse trade a lot. They can actually like crash economies and stuff.
Yeah.
That would annoy a lot of people, but I think I'm personally someone who enjoys that kind of stuff. I also enjoy like people coming up with interesting like scam strategies and stuff like that. I love EVE Online. I never played EVE Online much. I'm not very like knowledgeable of the game, but I love like how involved the whole community is with coming up like of tricks of abusing the economy, scamming people, and tricking them. Like even scamming like high level players into like these obscene like double agent into like another player's guild things, and it's like crazy diplomacy stuff. I love that type of stuff.
Well, Tarke, it could be like Tower Unite. They made a Kickstarter, and with that money they added content, and then launched. The game cost 15, so you get everything. No by PM. Ship, I would think that would be fine if GGG was 5 years ago in the past. The position GG's in now, they don't need to set up special buy-in programs. They're established enough as a company, in my opinion. But no, scamming in games. Like, I used to be such a little scammer when I was younger, mostly in RuneScape. But coming up with strategies like that, it opens an entire metagame. And I think that embracing more stuff like that would be such a good strength. And that's kind of why I want to have this podcasting, because there are so many just like really glaringly obvious things with PoE which wouldn't be that difficult to implement, which would make it much more... I use the word approachable, and people always say don't dumb down my game. You can make a game more approachable without making it easier. I actually think if they made the difficulty more consistent in Path of Exile, people would enjoy it more, because we currently have this awkward difficulty curve of massive spikes, then massive lulls for hours on end.
I think you could make...
Spikes, and I think actually like spikes and a little bit of relief afterwards is actually pretty good design. I always loved that about like all the games I really like Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Mega Man, Metroid. It's always like you have like this insane epic fight, and then after that a little bit of like relief where it's like not that difficult again, and then you have to like work your way towards the next boss. It gets harder and harder and harder. Then you have like this awesome boss encounter again, and then you're like after that you're like, whew, that was crazy. And then after that you get a little bit of like easy mode again. In Path of Exile it's kind of like a problem because like easy for way too long.
Yeah,
then
it's
you
basically
get
Act 4, and then everything's easy till Act 4.
I mean, for a new player it's a bit different, I guess.
Yeah.
I think for a new player, mainly I think Dominus and Piety are probably also pretty tricky. It kind of starts earlier, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's for like every like somewhat knowledgeable player that like, let's say played like started last league, started in I don't know Talisman League, and then for everyone who plays now it's like, all right, easy mode, don't need resists at all, defenses. What is this? All right, okay, it's Dominus. I can have like a little bit of lightning res here, and then you go like, okay, now it's Tereso and Calm and Malachi, and that's when you have to actually. Like gear up, have some proper stats, and then you have to like play properly, and then it's like, all right, Act 1 again, time to chill until Dominus again.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if it was just Act 1 is like, you could say Act 1 is your break, but it's the fact that the game doesn't start to get challenging until about halfway through Act 3.
I think what they should do, they should make more bosses in the game like interesting and dangerous. But that takes a lot of work. Designing boss fights is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But what they could do, for example, is make the 3 bandits really cool fights. At the moment, those are the 3 most boring fights in the game. They're just like face tank, face tank, face tank, face tank, hit, face tank, kill some ads, face tank. Okay, GG, well played. And they could actually make them really nice. But the thing is, to make a boss fight more interesting, it has to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that otherwise it's just like an HP sponge. They have to have like at least like one like really strong attack. For example, Oak could have like a slam, like the Vol Slam, where he just like charges up a little bit and slams it down. Maybe not hitting you for, I don't know, like all your HP, like Val or Vol or whatever would do, you know, like Izaro does.
I mean, I would
maybe
even...
have it still hit hard, or like make him get like Fortify on hit or something. So if you avoid his attacks, make him also more avoidable, and let him gain Fortify on hit. So if you avoid him, you actually kill him faster. That would be interesting for races as well, because it would like you would value skill more because it's basically 20% increased kill time. That's pretty cool.
That's basically exactly what I was going to say. I think that they could do a lot to the game without adding one shots, but adding stuff which slows you down. So for example, like, it's not just stupid, oh, this boss is now immune for the next 30 seconds, but for example, if you have Oak has a wind-up attack, and if he hits you, you get a debuff. So it's, if you want to just face tank the boss and not give a shit, you can, but it'll be slower. But if you want to dodge the attacks, you won't get the debuff, and you can kill him at normal speed. And that's a pretty good way to set up, like, they could very easily incorporate the mechanics of the Val fight in the bandits. So it's like, Oak has a slam, Caitlyn has like an ad summoning thing or whatever, or maybe that goes to Illyria. And you could start, if you start introducing mechanics earlier, like if you look at most well-designed dungeons and MMOs, and you might get raged at for making the game too MMO-like, you often have the small bosses introduce you to the final thing, you then get to the final thing, and now it all comes together. And I think
I think that's all right. I think like Mavale introduces some things, like she has the rain attack that you have to dodge. She has very obvious tells for a projectile attack. She spawns some ads where you can recharge flasks. I think Mavale is a good like first act boss.
Yeah.
I think Brutus is actually not that good of a first real boss you encounter. Brutus is pretty weird to fight. Like you have to avoid you have to avoid a lot of things, and if you're not wearing like solid armor and stuff, he's not that easy. But the other thing with him is like first time players always over level because they like will backtrack, kill all the mobs, you know, like loot all the loot. It's not like a first time player will arrive like 3 levels under level at Brutus. That's just not gonna happen ever. Alira has the laser beams. She has laser beams. Alira is like auto attacking you,
and then occasionally detonate the ad,
And she has a zombie that she spawns. That's what she does. And she should have like way more cool spells. Like they could put like storm calls on her or whatever, stuff like that. I think storm call is one of the nicest spells to have on any boss monster because it is a clear tell, but it does a lot of damage. It's like really punishing. I like that a lot. And I think that the best designed fights right now in the game are probably starting in Act 4. Maybe Dominus is a really nice fight. I like the Dominus fight always. He has some clear like points where you can attack him, where he's like vulnerable. Even if like a really shit build, you can still get Dominus if you attack in the right moments, and then like kite around for the rest of the fight, like dodge his attacks and stuff. Isabro is one of the better fights, definitely. I love the fight. I think it's really good, really well designed. The Reso is alright. I think could be better, could be worse.
I feel like Duresso is an okay fight, but his mechanics, like he has the like charging up mechanic, which when you first glance at it isn't that clear what's going on. I don't think it's that good of a tell. Like when there's a slam, it's a very obvious tell. When there's I have a blood swirly animation around me. When you're first doing the fight, it's like it doesn't really give you that much info, you know.
I mean, yeah. Do you mean the self buff, or what do you mean?
When you go through the phases and then he kneels down, has the red swirl around him, he like charges up and then he enrages for a little bit.
When I first saw that, because the first time I fought him, I was actually completely blind. Because that's how I like to approach any game. I actually moved away because I was thinking he would do some kind of discharge attack or something. But that's alright, that's not bad to do, because if he does that and you move away, that's the right thing to do, because after that he will be buffed. So it's kind of giving you the tell that it kind of shows you, okay, something dangerous is about to happen. I think that's what the tell that I got from it. So I think it's not horrible. The main problem is with this fight is the damage types are not very friendly to some builds. Like if you are ES based, like Hybrid ES Live for example, you get frozen really easily by his cold attack, and it's not clear at all that it is cold damage. It doesn't look like cold damage to me at all.
Yeah,
it's not even like bluish anything, no ice, nothing. That would be one thing that I really would like to see changed. The swords could have kind of like a better tell, like a cooler animation as well. Like maybe they could like come cracking out of the ground or something like that, and then
the swords could be a lot more interesting and a lot less obnoxious.
Yeah, just give me like a half a second tell before they
when it's like when they spawn on top of you and you have to be playing an acro character, you're like, oh, rip that, 80% life.
They actually have like they don't start hitting right away when they spawn, but their animation is like the animation is basically not there. Something else I would like to see is
it feels easier, but when it first came out, they felt like almost instantaneous.
Oh no, it's just people getting used to it, I think. And they also don't spawn on top of each other as much anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
They used to be able to spawn 3 exactly on top of each other, and then you would insta rip. Yeah. I think they changed them either a little bit, or we just got used to it. I mean that's what happened to Dominus. Dominus wasn't changed at all that much, but I don't know if you remember. People were upset.
Oh, I think Dominus
is way too difficult.
Yeah, I think Dominus is a really good example of the community learning. Because the end of Act 3 was such a massive step up from Piety. And it was one of those things where, like, wait, people farm Dominus? I remember when I first heard people farmed Merciless Dominus, like, that's fucking insane. And then now it's like, yeah, Dominus is a fucking joke. And, like, I'll do it with no lightning res. I remember chat was, like, screaming me for not using a topaz. I was like, no, it's fine. I only need 20%. I just don't get hit. It's chill.
The thing is, if you get hit once by the
you're dead.
projectile attack, you die.
Yeah, you just don't get hit. It's fine.
You have to play a bit safer then, but you can attack him like whenever he teleports onto you with the like blink attack. Yeah. That's when you can hit him always. Like you will stand there and not attack for like good 1.5 seconds. So that's when you can always get damage in safely. And I think the Dominus fight is fine. I think it's really well designed. The ads before him are a little bit sketchy, but they basically make it so that you have to cap all resistances. I think that's the idea behind them. It's like, okay, we kind of want you to have all res capped for this fight, or at least like be close to it, because there's like a lightning caster, there's a fireball guy, there's a cold guy, there's a chaos guy, there's a fizz guy, and there's like a rapid hitting guy and a slow heavy hitting guy. So it's like they have like all the different scenarios in there.
What's your opinion on the fact you don't have a combat log? Because I had a dude get insta-gibbed, and he spent like a good 30 minutes trying to describe how he died to my chat, and we just couldn't work out what it was. And I feel like that's another thing which might put off players. I mean, R3's talked about how he got screwed over by some fights and stuff. But I feel like if when you died you had a combat log, you could go, oh, that killed me. And then you could prepare for it next time. Because some deaths aren't that obvious.
Yeah, some are not, but I think combat log would make a lot of things very easy. And I don't know, I like when some things are mysterious in a game, and it's not everything, not all numbers are known, and you kind of have to. I personally boss guides where I do where I analyze what type of damage a boss does and whatever. I did that for Deresso, Isaro, and Malagaro so far, and I love doing that, and I think it's a really cool way because it's. I don't know. I just don't like when everything's like handed to you. I don't think everything should be revealed. I'm a pen and paper dungeon master. A lot of danger and stuff like that. Like sense of danger comes from people not knowing, because you fear the unknown way more than you fear what you know. If you know this guy does 2,000 to 3,000 lightning damage with his hit, like maybe your character could tank Dominus Slam. You just don't know it. But you don't want. Would you want to test it? Are you still scared of Dominus Slam? Would you still be scared if you know that you could tank it? That's kind of like the whole thing.
I don't think you need like a constant combat log, but if you just had one on death, yes, okay, people in standard could math everything out. But I feel like
they would.
Even if you just like you were told what killed you, you don't get the numbers, but it was just you died to.
Yeah,
X.
no, I'm cool with like no numbers. I think it would be cool if someone. Especially the message you get when someone on the ladder dies, it would be he was killed by, and then it says like more wants the name.
Yeah,
that would be the coolest thing. Or like then you get stuff like was killed by Ornette Strongbox. That would be the best. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be cool. I don't know how easy it is to implement. I know that a lot of games still struggle with even like doing that. For example, League of Legends Combat Deathlog, and that game is big. They have a lot of money to invest into stuff like that, and that is still complete garbage and doesn't work. They have like a death recap, and that doesn't work. And I think this might just be very hard to implement, but I think it would be cool if you could have that. But I can definitely see that not being worth the time invested.
Yeah, it's definitely something that you need to put a lot of time into, and you have to weigh up if that's worth it. But
I think the priority on that. If I was running, like we could invest like I don't know. A few $10,000 of time into that, and then we maybe could make it somewhat work. I would be like, just screw that. We're no priority here. If any of you guys want to do that in their free time, feel free to, but not today.
You know, if they put a combat log in, they'll charge $10 for it to pop up. You could spend MTX points to get access to.
I think they would make a shit ton of money on that. But I think the people, I don't know if I would like it actually or not. I mean, it's kind of like
I would
knowing
be
what
pissed
killed you.
if they put that in. I'd be really pissed.
The thing is, just knowing what killed you, or like even what they could actually put in, what would be funny, if they put in that you can, when you die, you get like an option where you can MTX a thing where it posts in global chat that you died and what you died to.
That could maybe be cool.
Even if you're not on the ladder, I think they would make a shit ton of money on that. But only in hardcore. If they made it softcore, that people would just spam chat like all day. I mean, they would make a shit ton of money, I guess, but not sure if how I would like that or not. People could also spam that in softcore because they would be like level 1 death all day, every day.
Yeah, that kind of like.
Don't really know if I thought that through, but I can definitely see that they were earning a crap ton of money. I played enough Asian MMORPGs where they had like megaphones where you can global post messages. And I know people spend so much money on that stuff.
I can imagine.
So much money.
Tarke, I'm kind of worried about you doing lab. Don't rip. I'll be fine. Worst case scenario, I'll just log out again. But people have the combat log based on the wiki.
People have the combat log posted on the wiki. I mean, if they had combat logs, I would like do a lot of analysis on all the bosses and stuff and make boss guides for them. Like I did. I basically do that before as well. I have a good estimate on the bosses I tested. I have a good estimate on how much damage they do on each difficulty, and what the damage composition is, because I test them with different resistances, and then you can do. I don't know what they call that stuff called in English, but you can do like percentage calculations. Like if you do like one hit with I don't know, you take like 5 hits with 0% cold res, it does like 2k damage. Then you take some with like 50%, that's some with 75%, and then you pretty much know the damage range.
I know what you mean. I mean, I used to be good with that stuff. I feel like it might have just been because the game was a lot smaller, but back when it was in beta, it was we basically knew what Val Smash did, and we knew what this did, and we knew what that did. Like, I used to have a pretty good idea of what everything was. So it was, you need this much life to survive this smash with capped res and stuff like that. But I don't... Like, do you actually think the game would be worse if we did know the numbers of everything?
Yeah, I would find it a bit. It would miss the danger of the unknown. Like if you know that something cannot kill you when it hits you, then the whole like danger, the fear part of it's gone. Well, if I'm not tanking Bard smashes in any difficulty. I know I've survived. I survived a normal Bard smash before, and I know that it does less than 1.2k damage because I had a crap ton of life in Act 1 normal, Act 2 normal. But like I've never tried it with crew. I mean, you could, as I said, you could try that if you wanted. It was a standard play, you could try it. But the fact that people don't try it as much, anyways, kind of shows that there's maybe just not much interest for it, anyways. So that's why the priority isn't high. Because there would be a way to try it out. It's just a lot of hassle.
I know. Like, I feel like it may maybe affect things when it came to the leveling process, but it's going to be one of the things, even if you know that, say, Malachi Slam does X many thousands of damage, the second you start rolling map mods, you're no longer gonna, no one's going to sit out with a calculator and start running through, okay, well, with 2 map mods and this, that, and the other, I could or couldn't survive this hit, or this slug.
Or someone could just make a tool where you control C, control V your map into a tool, and then you just get like, that's the damage of the boss. Do you want to run it? That's like Ren and Devourer with these mods would do that much damage. Do you want to run it? That would be pretty interesting actually to have such a tool. But then, as I said, I don't think it's needed. I don't think it would benefit the game. I don't think it would be too harmful. But as I said, a little bit of like sense of unknown and danger is probably not bad for the game, I think.
No.
And yeah, as I said, I think the benefit is not there too much. I don't think too many people care, honestly.
That's fair. That's fair.
And that's coming from me, who's doing all the boss damage analysis stuff.
Yeah. I know personally I wouldn't give a shit. It's mostly just for when someone comes in chat and you try and spend like 3 hours trying to work out what it was and stuff like that.
Yeah, it would be cool to know what mob killed you.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Or like maybe what mob, even what attack killed you.
Yeah, that
like
could be it.
But
if you just got told the mechanic, so you use like corrupting blood. Okay, well you know not to fuck up with corrupting blood next time.
yeah, it would be like, I don't know, Tarke cats died died at level 95 in Parandus Hardcore to a Devourer Volatile Blood.
Yeah.
Then you would go, oh, I died to Volatile Flame Blood. It was a Devourer popping up in my face. Maybe you didn't see what was happening because there were so many mobs. Or you died to, it must be like, die to a porcupine, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. The thing is, they would have to come up with official names for every mob attack.
Well, I mean, that's a chore, but once the chore's done with, it wouldn't be too difficult, I don't imagine.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's just, you just get an intern random in the office to sit down and label it. I mean, I doubt we'll see official GGG, eat up was slain by titty bitches and stuff like that, but...
Yeah, I mean, there would be some trolling. It's GGG.
Yeah,
right? So
they probably would be.
There would be some trolly stuff. Like if you died to something, for example, if you died to like an what are they called, the fisherman ghost, something possessed by the fisherman ghost, they could make it the message like was killed for revealing fishing secrets.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of fun they could have with it. But what's your opinion on the whole? We've just turned this into a conversation. It's pretty fun though. Hopefully, it's not annoying. But what's your opinion on the whole half
going up? So that seems like a good sign.
Oh yeah, that's always good. What's your thought process on the whole half thought out / rushed leagues implementation?
I don't know what you mean by that.
It seems the last 3 or 4 leagues we've had, we kind of get the band-aid term of we had to rush this a little early, and you get these ideas which aren't fully fleshed out. And then most of the time these ideas aren't put into the game in any real sense. So Lab has obviously been pretty rushed. I could see why with a big release like Ascendancy that they had this issue, but then you have Talisman, and Talisman is, oh well, it was like an in-betweeny thing, and there was a lot of refinement still needed. Tempest was okay, but still a lot of refinement was needed. It seems to be like quite a big trend with the last few leagues we get, where we just get these nearly refined leagues, but they just didn't spend enough time on them or something, or enough testing.
I think that's pretty normal. It's like growing indie studio, indie development always works out like that. I play a lot of indie games. I know that by now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's specific to GGG at all. It's like indie games often they come out and like GGG been doing this for a while, of course, but it's still kind of like an indie company. It's not like a huge organized like company of like a lot of people, and yeah, it kind of shows. I hope they will kind of like make it to the point where the game feels less unpolished in some places and feels like everything feels a little bit more like more and more professional, kind of, if you know what I mean. It's like not that the game is unprofessional or anything, but you still feel it's an indie game. You can still see it by the development cycles and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's not. I think it's pretty normal.
I think maybe it's just because I don't think of them as an indie studio anymore.
Yeah, I think that's
that
why
might
a
just
lot
be
of people they hold Path of Exile. Path of Exile is such a great indie game that a lot of people don't started to hold it up to the standards of like big studios.
Yeah,
which
that's probably what's happened.
It's maybe not 100% fair all of the time, but they've come such a long way. We kind of come to expect them to get better and better with every patch, and they are still doing that. But it's maybe not completely fair every time, but on some other ends, they just royally screw up, and we call them out for that. I think that's all right. And they've usually when they've been some like huge blunder, they apologize for that.
They are fairly transparent.
Sorry, yeah, we messed that up. Yeah, they're very transparent with that, and you can't get that from like big companies. Will usually have like a huge PR staff. They will just like have those PC PR prepared answers all the time, and I'm happy we don't get that all the time from UGG. Like sometimes they will be very like PC and PR-ish about things, but oftentimes they will just be honest with like, yeah, that didn't work out. We screwed that up, and we tried to fix it. We apologize, which you don't ever get from big companies. Like they will not be like, we fucked it up. They will just like, okay, let's be silent about it, wait for the whole thing to blow over, patch it out, and we good to go, guys.
Oh, I fucked up the charges again.
Yes, I just watched. Was like, why did you activate the last thing? He was at half HP, and it was still.
Yeah, I know that was so dumb. I figured I had more damage than I actually did. I thought, okay, I can probably burn him.
Now you're out of flasks. Nice.
I'm chilling. I can just slow down the fight. But
They kite him out until he spawns again.
yeah, that's chill. But no, I figured that I can probably burn him. He'll go through like 3 or 4. It won't be too bad. But,
Burn him with your insane beat.
yeah, burn him with my insane blaster and DPS. You know. I should probably just game you all the rapid decay.
I mean, the charges give him defenses, but it's not that much. That's not why your damage is low.
No, that isn't the issue at all.
But yeah, I think overall, I mean, GGG and Path of Exile has come a long way to keep the same topic going, because they have, like if you compare Path of Exile, like release Path of Exile, like 1 year after that, another year, like every expansion improved, the game improved so much, and all the new content added always looks more polished than the old ones. That's kind of what we talked about earlier to get like full circle now. Yeah. That they should at some point probably revisit and rework some of the old stuff. Because it just looks, the difference in polish is very noticeable. Like for example, Labyrinth, like even with the lighting right now, this what looks so sexy, and nothing in Act 1 or 2 looks that cool. Maybe minus the Val boss fight area.
Well, I mean, what's your thought on? A lot of people have been calling for a difficulty being removed. Now that we have Lab added to it, we have quite a long Act 3, quite a long Act 4. Would you think you'd be happy if they cut Crawl or something?
I wouldn't. I don't think I would miss it. No.
Do you think
they would have to find a new way to redistribute skill points. I think what they could do, they could remove Cruel and just like don't give us the skill points. I think that would be really cool. Just like be like, yeah, okay, you want Cruel removed, huh? Like, piss off. That's minus, I don't know, 10 skill points.
Yeah.
And I think they could actually get away with that, because people would be very happy with not getting Cruel removed. They would be like, you know what? Yeah, okay, minus 10 skill points. I take that. Well,
you know what they could do? They could make Malachi super rewarding to kill, and then people would have to kill
give
Malachi.
Him 10 skill points.
Well, no, like
if they the 10 skill points.
If you got 5 skill points for killing Malachi, then that means you would have to kill Malachi in the final difficulty.
But I kind of like that killing the last boss in Path of Exile is always optional. It's kind of like a traditional thing. I don't think taking that away would be cool. I mean, once Act 5 comes out, Malachi would not be optional anymore. That's kind of like how it was with Dominus as well. I was actually legitimately scared to face Merciless Malachi for the first time. I never killed him before that. I never just didn't care. And then I was like, okay, Merciless Dominus, I heard he's pretty tough. And he was actually, like, for the first time I ever fought him, like in 2.2, 2.0. I was fairly scared for my character. It worked out in the end, but it was actually a pretty cool fight. I liked it a lot. And now it's become the norm, and Merciless Malachi is kind of like the special event. I did him once on a level 90 RF character. Yeah. Basically my tanky is like incredibly tanky, can ignore almost all damage types. RF Firestormer. Yeah. That I did. During one way I did a Merciless Malachi for the challenge in Talisman. Then I did what's her face? Atziri for the first time, blind without knowing the mechanics, and then the last thing I did was the Wingta map, also without knowing any mechanics.
That's pretty cool.
And I died in the Wingta map during the boss fight because I screwed it up. But yeah, I was able to do the other ones. But it was actually just a screw up on my side. It was not the build was basically foolproof.
Wow.
I think double Flame Blast Atziri and a Storm Call, like right in rapid succession, and did not die.
That's cool. I know the first time I did Merciless Malachi was last league as well. And that was mostly just because I was really bored. I was playing a Poison Blade Faller because I was like, oh, I've got Beanos, let's see what all this is about. And I got frustrated with how good the character was. I don't know if you've ever had this. I mean, this is something I do. I kind of get frustrated with characters when they're too good. So I kind of go, this character needs to die now. So I was 82 Acro with like 4k life. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do Merciless Malachi. Apparently he's impossible as an Acro character. If he kills me, then great, I don't need to play this character anymore. And if I don't die, then I'm amazing at the game, because people always complain about how challenging he is as an Acro build. And I completely face rolled him. It was the easiest fight I've ever done.
You basically one-shot every phase with Bladefall, right?
Yeah, it was so dumb.
One or two Bladefalls and then that's it.
Yeah. It was basically one of those things of I would get hit down to about 400 HP and I would just spam Flask. But you just threw Bladefall and everything just died anyway, so you didn't care. And
I never really had that much. Like usually I don't know how to say that, but usually when a build seems too strong, I just start doing more difficult content to the point where it feels challenging again. That's why the whole map system sometimes bugs me so much, because if my character is strong enough to do tier 15 maps, I want to do tier 15 maps. If my character is strong enough to do tier 12 maps, I want to do tier 12 maps. I don't want to invest into tier 12 maps instead of investing into my character. I made a video about that.
Yeah, I watched it. It was a really good video.
It really bugs me. This kind of it just feels wrong to invest into challenging yourself. That's kind of my whole point of the video. I don't want the map tier sustain. Like people always said that, oh, so you find map sustain too easy. You want this to be super easy. No, I actually want maps to be so hard that you can't progress because your character is not good enough. I don't want maps to be like, okay, I could do tier 30 maps, but I can't do them because I don't have them. I want to be like, I could do tier 12 maps. I don't think I can do tier 13 because there's an actual difficulty jump there.
I think another thing which would be pretty cool sort of on that route is if you had a piece of optional content, kind of like, I don't know, say a level 75 Labyrinth, which gave you kind of like tier 8, tier 9 XP. So it's if you're struggling to maintain maps, you could drop into like a super hard mode lab, maybe get some maps out of it, at least get some half decent XP, and then you can go back into it.
That's not where the problem is. The problem is red maps. I mean, you can see like Ziz, for example, he's
yeah, that's a good one.
He can sustain the red maps, like rolling them properly and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, the thing is that the system is not bad. I just don't like how it is. I don't really know how to say it, because the map system kind of gates itself in a really interesting way. You can sustain it if you're playing a build that can run really hard red maps.
No.
Because if you can run Reflect and all of that, if you have like a build that can ignore most map mods, then you can afford rolling those maps and actually make a return from it. Because mapping at the end of the day still is kind of profitable. You still drop, on average, you drop like so much that you will make a profit, as like a lot of top players say. Especially if you race to the highest tiers of maps. Yeah. If you're the first one to get an item level 83 bases, then yeah, you would be rich.
Yeah, you're bladed. don't know. I feel like there should be some alternatives. I definitely don't like the system the way it is, because I feel like there should be a way to test your character outside of mapping. Just because some people just don't like it. I've always enjoyed games where it's kind of, oh, I can go do this other thing. So if I've just done a full day of maps all day every day and I want to try something different for once, I could go jump in something else challenging. And I feel like the lab would be the perfect thing to fit that.
Yeah, the lab could have filled that niche. The problem is that everything that does not grant XP in Path of Exile to a large part of the community is just not worth it.
Yeah, and that's why you need just a higher level version of lab.
The thing is, the other thing, there are like two things people like the vast majority of Path of Exile players are gravitated towards: making a lot of currency and or making a lot of experience.
Yeah.
If whatever content you introduce does not give either of those, then nobody's gonna do it. Like not a significant amount. Like, maybe I'm gonna do it because I'm like doing silly stuff. Maybe like a few other people are gonna do it, like PvP for example. That's one of the things that doesn't grant either of those. Nobody does it. There's racing, doesn't grant either of those. Not very popular. Although racing is a bit more popular because you get something out of it.
Quite a big following. I mean, racing is quite big. Yeah.
Racing is like not like nobody does it, but compared to the amount of people who play the game, the normal
it's very
game,
very small.
It's still like a very small portion of people.
I feel like they kind of hurt it with the current schedule. I feel like the old racing schedule was more approachable.
I never raced. I think racing is what I play this game for is like making interesting builds and like playing. I love playing the normal game, basically, and racing just takes away from that without giving me anything back. Like the racing rewards are just like, if you don't like racing, you're not gonna race for the rewards, even if they have really cool alternate art stuff. Like, at the end of the day, that's not gonna gravitate more than like a handful of people or so.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just freaking the fuck out. Oh, this boss. I used to take racing really seriously. Back pre-launch. I used to do the big like group racing and making sure that we push ladder, and a lot of people I used to play with would always be pushing to see how many demigods they could stack up. Like I have a friend who legit. Okay, log out. I had a friend who legit didn't. He actually didn't do a race because he ran out of stash space. He's like, I've got too many demigods. And it's like still a meme with the people I play with. It's like, no, there's too many demigods. I'm not doing this race. And
that's some first world problems right there.
Yeah. I used to take racing super seriously. Now, a lot of it was because I was playing in a big group. And because when you do anything in a group, it's more fun. I haven't bothered with racing at all since. And I think that the way that they schedule racing, in the fact that it's kind of like it's a downtime thing now, means that there are even less people playing the game, so even less people try it, so then it maintains a small niche, if that makes sense. Like it would grow a lot easier if they had some racing going on when people are actually playing the game.
Yeah, and if they just had like awesome prices that are actually worth putting the time in, like I don't know how many hours do you have to race to get the first valuable prize?
It really depends on how quickly you want it. If you wanted to just do the easiest races, and
just if I'm like a complete noob to racing, I'll just do the points. I never reach any top spot ever because that's like realistic.
It'll be a couple of weeks.
Most
like
people.
What you used to be able to do is, so you'd have like a schedule, and there would be like, oh, if you get 10 points for killing Mervale, anyone can kill Mervale within an hour, or near anyone, right? So what a lot of people do,
it's a realistic goal to work towards even for like the beginner players.
So what a lot of people do is they would just kill Mervale, they'd save up points, and they would know that after exactly 18 races, or however many races, they would get their cool unique. And that's still the case now, but now it's just the race season happens in the completely wrong time. I feel like the solo Southbound, the timing of the solo Southbound, even though it's a community thing, is perfect. Because it happened towards the end of the first month, which is when people's attention usually drips off the main league. So just having a side project just for a week or two, it keeps people interested, and then they're excited to go back to their mains where they have all their gear. Like, I'll play solo Southbound for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be able to go back to my main with all my currency, and I can play all the really cool builds with all my items. And it will elongate the league basically by a month for me, because I'll get that break if that makes sense.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. What I usually play like one self-found every league just for myself, and I usually do it like 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
That's usually when I usually have like a list of builds that I want to do, and that changes. Of course, changes every time. I see someone else play a cool build, or I get like a weird idea. I find one of the new uniques can maybe work in an interesting way. But I have like a list of builds that I kind of like prioritize in a weird way. Where I'm like, okay, I want to play this, I want to play this, I want to play this, and then after I made all of those characters, I'm like, okay, now I just want to play some sort of self-found, test the skill that I think could work well for it that I didn't try before. Last time was actually Caustic Arrow, where I leveled from level 1 or like whatever when you can equip at level 4 with Caustic Arrow, and that was horrible.
Yeah.
But it kind of worked out in the end. It didn't end up playing it too much. Sometimes I just quit the characters as well. But yeah, it's usually just like this experimental thing. It's not even like a challenge or anything for me. It's just like I want to see how it goes, see how it level with Caustic Arrow, and I tried it, and it ended up being horrible, and I decided against it.
Yeah.
And the patch before that, I played Fizz Bow, because Fizz Bow leveling, people told me it's not very good, and I wanted to experience it myself. I played the character to level 60 with Lightning Arrow, and Blast Wind wasn't out there yet. With Tornado Shot, I think, for single target. And that was horrible as well. But yeah, it's just me trying out things. Sometimes I like to try things and test how horrible they actually are. Before that, I did Mines. That was when Mines were new. And that was actually not bad at all. I actually liked Mines a little bit. Like the whole using was clunky, but the damage was good. And it kind of did what I expected it would do.
What do you feel?
Still not good by normal standards, though.
What do you feel about the fact that you have what's it called, clever construction? Why isn't that baseline? That's a mechanic which bugs the hell out of me.
Yeah, I think clever construction should be baseline. I think arcane vision should be either worked into what's called pain attunement, or worked into being the character even. The whole the thing is, the whole light radius with low life thing is in the game to like give you a signal, hey, your life is low, pot. It's never meant to be to the game to kill like low life. And arcane, that was like when Charles was first introduced, the first Charles characters could not get arcane vision because it was not in the game. Is this quality options?
I leveled with CA this patch, and I think it was amazing first and +1 as soon as I could plus bow, use Lightning Traps and tight, I know I think the thing with the lightning, I've heard somewhere that the reason why